before we get you to Tucson for the Weiser Lock Copper Bowl, Lee, your quick hitter.
Okay, in picking bowl games, I think one factor, who wants to be at the bowl game, is very important. Example, Michigan State, they didn't want to be in Memphis with all that snow and all that stuff. That's why U of L beat them. Watch that in the rest of the games.
You got a quick thought in the game in warm Tucson coming up?
Well, the Big Eight's off to a great start. We're 2-0. Kansas State's going to make it 3-0 tonight.
What a surprise. Coach Mission showing his Big Eight loyalty. If it's up to him, they're going to go 4-0 in the conference.
Absolutely.
You really believe they win, though?
Absolutely.
Picking the rival from across the state. Glenn will be back here at halftime as Mike Tirico joins Lee. But up next, the game from Tucson, Wyoming and K-State. Enjoy.
In the Old West, towns like Tombstone and Tucson often solve differences with a shootout. Sometimes a college bowl game does the same. These are the Cowboys of Wyoming, and this season they ruled the Western Athletic Conference. Points to them are like notches on a gun. The more, the better. This is an offense that respects everyone, but fears no one. His name is Christopherson, Ryan Christopherson. This running back never backs down. The side of tight end Mike Jones sends fear into most men. The strong arm of the Cowboys and their leader is quarterback Joe Hughes, whose favorite target is the slick, quick All-America receiver Ryan Yarborough.
I've heard of you.
It's Wyatt Earp, still the sheriff of this town.
I'm retired.
That's Doc Holliday. Is he retired too?
Not me. I'm in my prime.
It's not Earp or Holliday who present a problem for these Cowboys. It's a group of Wildcats, fresh off the train from Kansas State, who aim to prove they're the toughest in Tucson. Andre Coleman is K-State's most dangerous offensive weapon, and All-America safety Jamie Mendez takes no prisoners.
Not revenge he's after. It's a reckoning.
So if the Wildcats want to be the law in Tucson, they know they'll have to go through the Cowboys.
I think there's going to be a showdown
Tonight, the Cowboys meet the Wildcats.
Oh my God.
In the 5th annual Weiser Lock Copper Bowl. A celebration in the city of Tucson, Arizona, nestled among 4 majestic mountain ranges and covered by a purple-orange sky as the sun sets in the west. Tucson, this old silver and copper mining town, has embraced the over 15,000 Kansas State fans who have come from 13 plane loads and 88 bus loads and loads of enthusiasm to Tucson to watch them battle the Wyoming Cowboys. The Wyoming fans have come from places like Cheyenne and Pine Bluff, from Rock Island and Laramie, down through the mountains, following the Rockies, and arriving to the warm weather here in Tucson, Arizona. And onto the field now, the Kansas State Wildcats. There's Coach Bill Snyder. He served as a graduate assistant under the legendary John McKay at USC, helped Coach Hayden Fry turn around programs at North Texas State and Iowa. And this 3-time Big 8 Coach of the Year has helped complete perhaps the greatest turnaround in college football over the last 5 years. Here come the Cowboys of Wyoming. Everyone, welcome to Tucson. The Kansas State story, one of the great ones this season in college football. 5 years ago, they were given up for dead. Then they went out and hired one of the great assistant college football coaches in the country, from Hayden Fry's staff, Bill Snyder. And in 5 years, he has taken this program from the very bottom now to one of the top programs in the Big 8. This year, they have their best record since 1931, a top 20 ranking, and their second ever bowl appearance. For Wyoming, Here is a team coming into this season off 2 consecutive losing seasons. In fact, many people said this program would not reach 4-7. All they did was win 7 consecutive games as the course of the season went on in the WAC conference, and they end up as a top team in the WAC with a share of the Western Athletic Conference title. I'm with Craig James, and Craig, this is an offense of a great deal of firepower led by a strong-arm quarterback and an All-American wide receiver.
Now, that's from the WAC conference. That's all we need to say right there. Ryan Yarbrough, he's a man we'll talk about a lot tonight, but the key player in my mind is Ryan Christopherson, the fullback. He had 1,000 yards rushing this season, but he's got to pick up tonight the blitz from Kansas State. Kansas State has told us they will test them early. They're going to try to get to the quarterback, rattle him so that he cannot get the football out to Ryan Yarbrough.
And, of course, when the Wyoming folks throw the ball, they're throwing right into the teeth of perhaps the finest defensive backfield we've seen today.
And it's really kind of the game within the game. We're going to find out if Kansas State's great secondary can slow down Wyoming's passing offense. A couple of All-Americans in that secondary, Jamie Mendez, who probably has an acting career after his debut tonight on ESPN, and Thomas Randolph. Both are good. And Kenny McIntyre, another cornerback, many NFL scouts say, has more talent than either of these two. They have only allowed 1 receiver this year to go over 100 yards against them. They're jacked up. They like the challenge, and they will be ready.
So we've got an old-fashioned shootout here in the mountains of Arizona. From Tucson, the Copper Bowl. Kansas State against Wyoming in the Wild, Wild West.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week, the 1993 Weiserlock Copper Bowl, presented by Duracell, is brought to you by Weiserlock, America's home security system since 1904, and in part by Thrifty Car Rental, historically known for low rates, and by Budweiser, Beechwood Age for a crisp, clean, classic taste.
Chad May, that the Wildcats are in tonight's Copper Bowl is due in large measure to his heroics. His story, an interesting one. He transferred from Cal State Fullerton 2 years ago when the Titans went to the option offense. That wasn't Chad's cup of tea. He came to K-State. He brought with him passing ability, leadership qualities, and also a little California quirkiness. Chad has been known to dye his hair a time or two, and his parents, Jim and Marla, used their 5-week vacation to watch their son play, parking their 27-foot motorhome in their son's backyard. What kind of impact has he had on the Big 8 this season? Well, in the conference that boasts quarterbacks like Oklahoma's Cale Gundy, Colorado's Cordell Stewart, and Nebraska's Tommy Frazier, it was Chad May that the Big 8 coaches voted as their #1 quarterback, their first-team All-Big 8 quarterback. He will be a factor tonight. Gentlemen?
Mike, thank you very much. Bill Snyder. When he took over this program, they had 2 consecutive winless seasons. They won more games in the 90s than they did in the entire decade of the 80s. And he is an offensive mind. He has tutored some of the great quarterbacks at the University of Iowa. And there's an 18-year assistant now in his 3rd year as the head coach, Joe Tiller. One magazine said, as we mentioned before, they were going to go 4-7 to open up this season and complete it no better than the middle of the pack. And if he finished anywhere near the top, they should erect a statue of Tiller in Town Square. Well, construction has begun, and the magazine that said they'd go 4-7 will pay for it. And we are underway in Tucson. Prentice Rome at the 1. Nice move at the 15. And he lunges out near the 20-yard line. Now the Wyoming offense, a key tonight for that offense is fullback Ryan Christopherson. If he gets the running game going, the Cowboys should thrive with the quarterback Hughes and Terry Hendricks. Tight end Mike Jones leads the Cowboys in receptions, and with Yarbrough and Tillman make up a fearsome air corps. And the glue of the line is right guard Cody Kelly. He's out there with Fitzgerald, Heidemann, Scanlon, and Cyphers. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Christopherson. And he's out for about a gain of 8. Near the 28-yard line, tackle made by Jamie Mendez. 6 of the front 7 were non-starters last year for Kansas State. Defensive end John Butler was 4th in Big 8 sacks. Oaks was 2nd, with Colston and Herbert there in the middle. Purcell Gaskins was the Big 8 newcomer of the year. And as athletic a player as you'll find on the field tonight, Hokut and Veach round out the linebackers. We've told you about Mendez and Randolph, but Kenny McIntyre, in the view of some NFL scouts, may be the most underrated defensive back in the Big 8 Conference. 2nd down and 2. Up the middle run. And a 1st down run. Gain of 3 to the 31. 2 plays. What do you notice there, Coach?
Kansas State early on, they went there with that first blitz. You saw them go man-to-man on the outside. There was no penetration from the blitz. Therefore, Christopherson was able to get to the outside. Kansas State said they'd lay their ears back. They're going to try to get to the quarterback. The key, though, is penetration. They didn't have it on that first play.
1st down and 10. Joe Hughes, the quarterback. With Christopherson in motion. It's a pass across the middle, and it's caught by the tight end Mike Jones, and he picks up 11 and a 2nd Wyoming 1st down.
They do not read. They do not read. You're going to see the linebacker on the right side of your screen. He will drop back. That makes him go right here. There's his number 2 target. He immediately goes from 1 to 2, the tight end Mike Jones, because the linebacker on the other side had dropped to cover Ryan Yarborough.
Another 1st and 10. Hughes set 6 school records this year passing for the Cowboys. To the tight end Jones, and a gain of about 3 to the 45. They use him a lot of places, don't they?
The thing that Mike Jones does is that he spreads out the defense. They can't double team, triple team Ryan Yarborough. They have to give a lot of respect to Jones, who's caught 69 balls this season. Therefore, it gives both players the option of catching the football.
2nd down 7 for Wyoming. Opening drive of the Copper Bowl. This is Christopherson. Oh, and he was hammered. Keeps his footing, and that's exactly what he does so well, out to the 48. And another gain of about 3. Kit Rawlings and Steve Hanks make the stop for the Wildcats from the Big 8 Conference. This year, Kansas State finished 8-2-1. The Cowboys of Wyoming went 8-3. This kid was one of the main reasons why, a 1,000-yard rusher. 3rd down and 4. He's got the big receiver Yarborough. And ladies and gentlemen, he's gone. Touchdown. 52-yard touchdown pass. Flag on the play. And I think it's against Wyoming.
There was no play, false start, offense. Flag goes to keep 3rd down.
Here's Yarborough, who's caught 16 touchdown catches, and a sigh of relief from K-State coach Bill Snyder.
Tight end on the right side. You see him over here. He makes the move as the ball's being snapped. He's got to be set. Cost him 6 points.
So with the penalty, it'll be 3rd down and 9, and the ball just outside the Wyoming 43 on the game's opening drive. Record crowd here at Arizona Stadium for this Copper Bowl.
I'm laughing because we've heard all year about how Ryan Yarborough can't run. He's not fast. We're like Carl Lewis going down the field there.
Right. Very, very. He's got football speed. Right?
Amen.
3rd down and 9. Good time for Hughes. That's the tight end, Mike Jones. He was the leading receiver for this team and for quarterback Joe Hughes, and he'll be close to a 1st down. Gain of about 10 on the play. Let's see where they spot the ball. They give him it. It's down to the 47 of Kansas State.
1st and 10 Wyoming.
you take a look at these two ball clubs, offensively at least, you can see some fairly comparable numbers.
That yards per play is amazing by Wyoming, and you see there the key to that, 6.7, is that they pick the blitz up, and it allows Yarbrough and Jones the big play.
On the 7th play of the drive, Christopherson waylaid after a gain of about 1 by Kenny McIntyre, number 7. Here's a player that showed up on the doorstep of the Kansas State football coaches one day after playing 2 years of community college baseball in the state of Kansas and said, hey, I'd like to play. And he said, okay, give us a shot.
Kansas State is full of players that had the opportunity to play early. They couldn't play anywhere else. Kansas State was so bad several years ago. They said, sure, come on out. We need you. And they have shined because they're good athletes.
2nd down and 9 for the Cowboys from Wyoming. Hughes, quick toss. And it's caught. Working his way downfield. Ryan Yarbrough. Gain of 18 on the play as McIntyre makes the stop.
The objective is to try to get Yarbrough the football. He comes underneath, and what happens here, remember, this is a progressive read by the quarterback. He's not reading the secondary. They drop back, number 54, the linebackers. It clears the underneath pattern out for Yarbrough, and that is why there are very few mistakes and sacks that are given up by Wyoming.
So far, Hughes has hit Yarbrough on a couple. He is 4 of 4. Christopherson, big hole, and a first down to the Kansas State 15-yard line. Tackled by Hanks. Rawlings in the secondary. Gain of 12 right there. Nice balance of running pass for the Cowboys.
And let's get one thing clear early. Christopherson has big old calves. You'd think this guy rides a lot of bulls. He's from Wyoming. Well, this guy has moves. He has vision. He sees the holes. He makes the right decisions. Of course, he could ride a bull too, I'm sure.
Sometimes that's half the battle, reading the blocking ahead of you.
Yeah, take what they give you. Don't force something.
1st and 10. Christopherson again. And he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage as Laird Veach, a junior from Manhattan, Kansas. There with the stop. Kirby Hokut was involved in the tackle as well. He is from Sherman, Texas, and a junior, and the leading tackler on the Wildcat defense.
Now, you can notice when they spread out over here, you got receivers all over the field. Look how much they have to defend. You've got lanes back here, and it's hopefully allowing something to happen on the inside. But the one-back set forces that defense to cover the entire field.
Here's the 11th play of the Wyoming game-opening drive. Hughes, wide open on the near side. They've got Hendricks. And the defense converged and in a hurry. And he is down to about the 17-yard line. McIntyre was there again. Very athletic player. He's the one we told you before. He's probably the most underrated in the Big 8.
Talk about having to cover the entire field. Look at the empty set. Nobody's back there. What that forces the secondary to do is go out wide left. They try to create a confusion in the middle. The crossing pattern doesn't work, and McIntyre, the great athlete, makes the play.
That's what we see in the WAC so many times. 3rd down and 11. Near side wide receiver. Out on the near side by Kerry Garrett. Beach was there. Hokut had a hand in that for the Wildcat defense.
Joe Hughes, he never takes the snap unless he has 3 progressive decisions to make. You watch his eyes here. He's going to look, and there's going to be a linebacker that will drop. That's going to tell him to go 1 to 2 to 3. There is not a number 4 guy in their passing tree. That means get rid of the football.
Well, from this distance this year, Sorensen is 0 for 2. This is a 35-yard attempt. And in this bowl game, he hits it. Former walk-on. Sorensen gets it, and a long opening drive by the Wyoming Cowboys, who passed with ease on Kansas State. Cowboys up by 3.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser. who bring you Budweiser wish you and yours the very best of everything this holiday season.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week, the 1993 Weiserlock Copper Bowl, presented by Duracell, is brought to you by Weiserlock, America's home security system since 1904, and in part by Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of 1994 Mercury automobiles.
An opening game 13-play drive by the Cowboys, and Mike Adamle pretty impressive to begin things here.
Sure was. I was in the Wyoming locker room, Kevin, before the game started. One of the things that Joe Tiller preached to his defense, he said, Kansas State is a generic team, and when generic teams have a month to prepare, watch out. He expects the K-State offense to throw everything out of the book, all kinds of gadget plays, and he told his defense to beware of those.
And the ensuing kickoff, Andre Coleman inside the 10. This is an electrifying runner, and he gives him great field position out to the 32-yard line. Kansas State will start a 25-yard return. The Kansas State offense possesses the top passing attack in the Big Eight, led by quarterback Chad May, who broke 4 Big Eight passing records. He's back there with J.J. Smith. Andre Coleman, an electrifying receiver and special teamer, and coupled with Lockett and running, comprise just the second trio in Big Eight history to record 40 receptions each. And there's the center, Quentin Newton, 3-time All-Big Eight with Brooks, Wolford, Campbell, and Himmelester. 1st and 10 for the Cats. Off. Big hole. They can run well in Kansas State. And look at J.J. Smith flying. Down to the 38 of Wyoming. Gain of 30 yards on the run up the middle.
Wyoming doesn't want to give up the big play. Linebacker gets confused there. He's not able to see the lane. Look at the running lane. First play of the game, you can't give up big plays like that. There are 2 running lanes that he could have gone through. That's how big the hole was.
1st and 10 for Kansas State. Another handoff. And again, Smith this time leveled as he pushes the 35 and takes it down to the 34-yard line. Wyoming's defense led by right defensive end Brent Seifer. He led the WAC in sacks with Whitehead, Burrow, and Williams. Middle linebacker Ryan Folsom, 6'3", and is the reason for Cowboy defensive success with Cummings and Talich. Free safety Kenny Johnson is the leading tackler and the emotional leader of the much-improved secondary. Hendricks, Wade Constance, and Levin. 2nd down and 6. Smith again. And he backpedals his way down beyond 30, close to the 29-yard line. Surprised they're running so quickly to begin the game.
Much like Wyoming, Kansas State wants to force the secondary to cover the entire field. You see all of the players up here. They're trying to spread the secondary out. A lot of room they've got to cover there so that when the play is run, it gives ball carriers, if they're running, a lane to get to.
3rd down and 2. Audibilizing at the line, play clock at 1. Big throw, far side. He's got his receiver. Reception made by Mitch running, gain of 11 and a Wildcat 1st down.
Running is the key guy on 3rd down passes. 31 of his 40 have gone for 1st downs. Look how soft they're playing back here. A lot of room in the secondary and lanes that they can get to. And 40% of Kansas State's passes and runs are called at the line.
Why do you think they're playing them so soft?
They do not want to give the big play up. They have said we will allow the 6- and 7-yard play. Early in the year, we were giving up 4 and 5 big, long touchdowns. We've got it down to 1 per game. Let's keep it there.
First down and 10 for the Wildcats, down early, 3-0. Good throw. Coleman. Tripped up at the last second, but he's down to the 2 and a gain of 11.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a little all-WAC football game here tonight. Good pass protection. Quick throw by Chad May. Recognizes that he's got the soft coverage, and Coleman in that middle position of trip set to the right. He's a dynamite football player.
First and goal. Kansas State has got the lead. J.J. Smith. Pretty impressive drive and a great way to answer the way Wyoming came out. Extra points is no good. Nonetheless, the Wildcats answer the Cowboys. The opening drive for both teams, resulting in scores. Wildcats 6, Cowboys 3. Kansas State leading Wyoming 6-3. Both teams scoring on their first possession here in Tucson, Arizona, the 5th annual Weiser Lock Copper Bowl. With Mike Adamle and Craig James, Kevin Harlan. Absolutely a picture-perfect day today, and the night is so pleasant, about 55 degrees with a little breeze. Prentice home for a second time. This time he takes it out of his own end zone, and look at him fly. Out of the 26-yard line. And again, good field position. K-State takes their opening drive in for 6.
Now you can see here how everybody is really out here. This 6th linebacker, he is so far back from the ball, he is a good 5 to 6 yards when the ball is snapped. Therefore, when he tries to come in, this guy here, when he tries to get in there to make the play, he can't get there quick enough to keep Smith from crossing the end zone.
To throw on 1st and 10. It's the tight end. It's Mike Jones once again. I told you he's the leading receiver, but he is a converted wide receiver who went to the tight end so that he could get more snaps and bring in Christopherson to play fullback and move another body out to the wide receiving corps.
And as you can see, they don't really put him all the time at the true traditional tight end spot. They'll spread him out just a little bit so that he can get into the passing route. 2 guys go down, he's underneath, makes it easy.
Good size for tight end too. I mean, it might be an attractive element for the NFL.
So you're talking about some biologist or some attractive element. I like that.
Here's Christopherson again. He tries to carve out a few yards into the teeth of the Kansas State defense and gains about 2 to the 39. And that brings up 2nd down and 8. Overhead shots of tonight's Copper Bowl being provided by the MetLife Blimp. Snoopy 1. MetLife Blimp is traveling throughout the West on its 93 winter tour. And to have the great folks MetLife with us tonight. All you folks around the country. 15,000 of our best fans from the state of Kansas. 2nd down and 8 for Wyoming. Trailed by 3. First quarter here at the Copper Bowl in Tucson. Play action by Hughes. Good time. Double coverage applied on the receiver downfield. That was Jeremy Gilstrap. Incomplete pass. There's Mendez, the All-America. He is the one who is making the coverage on the play. He was not recruited by Ohio State, although he lived to play for the Buckeyes. But one of his coaches for his high school was the father of one of the defensive coaches at Kansas State. They said, hey, you gotta look at this kid named Mendez. They did. He is a 5th-year player, All-America, coming out of no place to be the jewel in the Kansas State defense. Hughes. It's caught. Richard Peace, a redshirt freshman with the reception. Randolph with the tackle. 19-yard gain. Little Barnum and Bailey for the Cowboy offense.
And this was the 3rd guy in their progressive read chart that they have. The crossing pattern, 81 Mike Jones. He goes up top. They cross underneath with Yarborough. This is number 3. Peace just turns around, and it's Merry Christmas.
Down and 10. All offense to begin this game. In that short three-step drop into the side, he hits Brent Tillman. And he's about a yard and a half shy of a first down across the way. Brent Tillman out of Pueblo, Colorado, and the tackle made by Laird Veach. Here's Tillman. His brother played for the Chicago Bears one time, and Tillman, a great athlete in his own regard, and had a nice season, 13 catches.
I think a lot of times you're going to see that regardless of who the receiver is in this offense, they're going to be successful because of the way that they spread the ball around and all the options and things that they give them.
Second down and 2. Hughes wants a timeout. Play clock was down to 2 seconds. And so Hughes will go over and talk with Joe Tiller and the coaches on the Wyoming staff as again that offense is on the move. Cowboys trail by 3. Well, we told you it'd be a wild game, and already with just about a handful of minutes gone in this one, Kansas State, Wyoming, with all kinds of fireworks. But the Thrifty Car Rental Bowl Week continues tomorrow night. The Cougars of BYU against the Buckeyes, the 11th ranked team in college football. Then the Poulin Weeder Independence Bowl from Shreveport, number 21, Indiana, will battle Virginia Tech. The Peach Bowl from Atlanta, Clemson against Kentucky. And then the Alamo Bowl from San Antonio, Iowa and Cal. That's coming up on New Year's Eve. Second down and 2. Christopherson, the end around to Yarborough. Does he want to throw? Yes, he does. Into the end zone. Intercepted by McIntyre. No, by Randolph. Thomas Randolph picks him off. His 5th interception this season, and it couldn't have come at a better time.
Great athletes are able to recover when mistakes are made. They were fooled. An excellent play called by Wyoming's coaching staff. Yarborough could have run the football for a lot of yards. You're going to see him come back around, and the receiver's open. He is open early, but because of the pressure put on Yarborough in the backfield, it allowed Randolph to come over to make the play. Not a bad throw, but he could have taken off and run the football. He'd have had a lot of yards there, and I thought this was 6. That's a great athletic move.
Now Kansas State 1st and 10 from the 20. J.J. Smith breaking a couple tackles. And he gallops for about 9 near the 30-yard line. Tackle made by Joe Cummings and Kenny Johnson. And there's Randolph. NFL scouts say he may be the 3rd best senior eligible for the upcoming NFL draft. Maybe the best cornerback right now. He's being compared to the likes of Troy Vincent, who played at Wisconsin, and the great Deion Sanders and Terrell Buckley at Florida State. Fairly high company.
I think that kind of play he just made right there is why he's up there.
Second down and 1. The quarterback keeper by Chad May. And he gets the first down. There's Yarborough. Statistically, the most prolific wide receiver in terms of yards and catches in NCAA history.
I like an athlete that's just thrown an interception that gets him a little drink on the sidelines, but he's so confident. He knows he's going to go out and make a play that makes up for the one he just committed. It's good.
That's the way it is in the WAC. It's easy to rebound. 1st and 10. J.J. Smith. What a great block. And he cuts the corner. Big block thrown out there by Barrett Brooks. The run by J.J. Smith, who was accountable for most of the great yards on that first drive. He was 5th overall in the Big 8 Conference in rushing.
Wyoming coaches teach pursuit and proper pursuit angles. What you see here is they're going at it like this. This guy needs to be coming here. Instead, he misses the angle, and they're able to get around the corner. Secondary people cannot take the wrong pursuit angles. Everybody on that defense must be wise.
Down to 2:45 in the first quarter from Tucson. Kansas State with a 6-3 lead on Wyoming. Both teams took their opening drives for scores. And the first turnover of the game was by Wyoming and to the All-America defensive back Thomas Randolph. Second and a short 3. Chad May. Great leaping catch by Mitch running. It's a first down. And all the way to the 40 of the Cowboys. Gain of 21 yards by quarterback Chad May.
Ordinarily, when you have trips over here like this, the number 2 receiver is your tight end. Not so in Kansas State's offense. They spread the field. One runs right up the pipe. An excellent throw by Chad May. We've heard a lot about his arm. That was an indication as how good he is with his touch.
First and 10. Offside, there's a flag and a run by the twisting and turning J.J. Smith. Thomas Williams on that line probably jumped off a little bit early for the Cowboys. Tim Springer from the Pac-10 leads our crew. Auburn, Washington. A lot of seniors for tonight.
Offside, defense, penalty is accepted. First down and 5.
This is really kind of their reward, isn't it? For 4, sometimes 5 years of trying to build up programs like Wyoming and Kansas State.
It's one of those games where you're fortunate as a coach that you can send your seniors off with this kind of gift. Tucson, the Copper Bowl has been spectacular for both ball clubs.
With the penalty now, first and 5, and from the gun, Chad May. Fake and delay through the hands of the tight end Brad Sine. Bill Snyder was 10 years the offensive coordinator for Hayden Fry up at Iowa, but you can see the dramatic impact that he has made in just a short 5-year span in Manhattan, Kansas.
He makes it happen because of discipline, consistency as a coach. He doesn't like you to be late to meetings. I was late to the meeting with him yesterday. I thought he was going to run me out of there.
I was not. I live in his state. I was not.
First meeting you were on time too all week.
Second and 5. And this is the electrifying runner, J.J. Smith. J.J. Smith has only been averaging 68 yards a game. That was a pickup of 29, and already he has 86 for the night.
Well, he's got great speed, but you're going to see an unbelievable block by the right guard. He comes in, sees the man coming, linebacker, great pin block that gives Smith the hole. This was like number 22 Emmitt Smith running the football.
First and goal. Smith again. He's inside the 4, near the 3. Breaking tackles, too. Running right up the gut.
They've got another running back at Kansas State we might not see play tonight because of an injury, Rod Schiller, who is really their power player. They were worried about not having him in the game tonight for short yardage goal line situations, but obviously, or apparently, Smith is going to do a nice job.
He's a junior from Kansas City. 8th play of the Wildcat drive. Wrapped up. Tackle made by John Burrow from Pinedale, Wyoming. And Levin is there, number 15 as well from the secondary.
Now, Wyoming doesn't blitz. They're going to play soft, and we've talked about that. But when you get down where you see an offense just running it down your throat, throwing it at will, sometimes you got to mix it up. You got to roll the dice a little bit.
Out of bounds at the 3. Defense with a big stand for Wyoming when they needed it most. Rob Levin, second leading tackler, along with Ryan Folsom, number 48, shut the door. And they're going to try the field goal. Tate Wright, a 4-year starter, will come in. He had the game-tying kick against Colorado. This will be a 22-yard attempt. Out of the hold of Gartanian, and the kick is good. And the Wildcats of Kansas State, as the first quarter comes to a close, lead it 9-3 over Wyoming. As the full moon rises over the Santa Catharina's Island. Here in Tucson at the Copper Bowl, Weiser Lock Copper Bowl. Wildcats of Kansas State with a touchdown and field goal lead the Cowboys 9-3. Yet the Gals from Wyoming still very much into the game. We've only gone through one quarter of play. And big parade was held in downtown Tucson today that was led by the Master of Ceremonies, George Brett, Hall of Fame third baseman to be for the Kansas City Royals. And that begins a week-long bout with festivities for this community heading into the new year.
What a great week. We were at a pep rally last night for Kansas State, and it was jacked up. I mean, really a fun event.
Wall-to-wall people. Dennis Rome moves to a knee and out of the catch and out to the 20-yard line where Wyoming will get it again. First down and 10 yards to go. Craig, any surprises so far in this first quarter?
Well, you know, you had the touchdown call back from Wyoming. They wish they hadn't obviously made that mistake. I'm a little surprised that Kansas State has been so successful running the ball. I thought they'd really throw a lot more and take advantage of what they think and assume is better athletes than Wyoming.
Well, here come the Cowboys again with a 1st and 10. Quarterback Joe Hughes from Ridley, California. And he's right on the money there. Yarborough makes the reception. Nice throw by the quarterback Hughes, who finds his match in Chad May, Kansas State. That's the interesting thing there, the ratio of touchdowns to interceptions. Very good toward the quarterback.
And both high completion percentages. Yes. I mean, that, and we have seen tonight they have been even higher than that, really consistent.
Hughes at one time ranked 3rd in overall offense this year, finished 11th in college football. Christopherson. There's a fumble. McIntyre picked it up, but they blew the whistle. Ryan Christopherson took it up the middle, trying to carve out a couple and could not. George Johnson with a nice play.
Problem is, the right side of your screen penetration comes, and that kills any chance Christopherson has of getting momentum going. I'm not so sure that wasn't a fumble. His knees weren't down. His forward progress had stopped.
Now 3rd and 2. Play action by Hughes. Looking for Yarborough, but did you see the coverage by Kansas State? Mendez was there, making his presence felt. And for the first time tonight, Wyoming has got to punt the ball.
On the night, Joe Hughes has been consistent. He's been solid, 10 of 12 for 90 yards, and 6 different receivers have caught passes. It appeared on that particular play that he was just throwing it up and that he really didn't take his time in finding his number 2 guy, just threw up the Hail Mary.
Gragert will punt. He's a sophomore from Elkhorn, Nebraska, and fields a low ankle-high snap. Coleman is deep back, but he won't get it this one because the punt is way upfield. Look at the bounce it takes for the Cowboys. All the way down to the 24-yard line. 48-yard punt by Gragert, a former discus performer in high school.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week, the 1993 Weiser Lock Copper Bowl, presented by Duracell, is brought to you by Duracell batteries. No other battery lasts longer. And in part by Infinity Luxury Automobiles. Infinity, it's everything that's possible.
Record crowd here at Arizona Stadium. This is the home of the Arizona Wildcats. It'll play up the road in Phoenix, Tempe, at the Fiesta Bowl. But boy, have they been hospitable this week for us here in Tucson for the Weiser Lock Copper Bowl. Little play action by Chad May, and everybody faked, and he's going to run to the side and get a first down at the 35-yard line. Head-on hit by Steve Hendricks. Pickup of 11 on the play. May is from Laverne, California. The tackle there, a good one by Hendricks. May is an interesting story. Coming as a transfer from a program down and out at Cal State Fullerton, and he's made a mark.
Backside receiver never had a chance to come across. The running back didn't get into the play, so May had to run the football. But I'm not. Oh, great block coming up here. I mean, this is one of those where you kiss them in the mouth and say, you usually hit me, I'm getting you. But you don't want Chad May running too much.
He's a big kid, 6'2", 220. Run here by Leon Edwards. He is a junior, taking the place of Rod Schiller. 5'6", tackle made by Tyrone Williams, number 87. Second down to about 9. Receiver Andre Coleman, first down on the Cowboy 42-yard line.
Once again, they go one back in the backfield. You watch the linebackers. That's the key. What happens to them in the drop? They're sucked up. They're trying to look at the play-action pass, and the underneath passing game's not there. Coleman is open, wide open in that soft pocket. Chad May, this is the second nice pass he's thrown over the linebackers. Kind of threw it to the side so he could make sure that he got it down to them.
8:23 in the play. 1st and 10 for K-State, leading 9-3. Action. Good fake by May. Spinning catch by Tyson Schweiger. Gain of 11. Another first down. I see a lot of variety here from the play calling for Kansas State.
It's confusing Wyoming is what it's doing. They're just not quite sure what to do over there because Kansas State's established the run, they've established the pass, they've rolled to the right, they've come to the left, they've thrown straight drop back.
Keep that defense on edge, they can't guess.
Especially those linebackers. Linebackers are not playing a game for Wyoming.
Interesting number there on first down. Break out Coleman. Slip just a bit. He gets inside the 30-yard line. Picks up about 2. And across the way by Kenny Johnson. Junior college transfer from Oceanside, California. There's the tight end, Mike Jones for the Cowboys. Second leading tight end receiver in college football this year. He was heard from in the first drive. He's been a bit quiet since then. Fumble on the play. Recovered by Wyoming, but a flag has been thrown on the play as well. Flag is down on the near side of the 27-yard line. Burrow, number 50 there in the middle of your screen, is the one who picked up the loose ball. It's been out of the field.
Outside, defense, 5 yards, second down.
What a break for Kansas State. The second break they've gotten. The Yarborough called back touchdown and that fumble.
See them lined up off sides, up top of the screen. And this, you just can't do that. You've got to make sure that you play sound, fundamental football because you're not blitzing. When you get an opportunity to recover a fumble, you've got to be there without a mistake.
Second down and 3. Playing AstroTurf up in Manhattan. Around many of the fields in the Big 8 Conference. That might be an interesting story to develop. The hand of the natural grass here in Tucson. He's got Coleman. Wide open at the goal. Yes, couldn't have been more perfect.
I think they'd like to run that one again. Well, you're going to see how Wyoming, 40% of Kansas State's plays are called at the line of scrimmage. That's exactly what they've done here. They've got 4 people dropped in coverage. They've got man-to-man, post corner. He's got to make the catch.
May got a calling card there for Cowboy defense after he released that ball. 3rd and 3 now for Kansas State. Early in the second quarter.
This is where they could use Rod Schiller as the power back when they get that short yardage situation.
J.J. Smith back in there. He gets the first down and then some. He's inside the 5 and to the 2 of the Cowboys.
I love it when people make me sound goofy.
Well, your thought process was right.
Made sense when I was thinking.
Different kind of car, different kind of ride.
Different game. J.J. Smith, the right guard, comes off, makes an excellent block of pushing down, comes in, walls off everybody so that Smith has a lane. Did you notice the stutter step?
Yes.
The stutter step allowed it to get open. A big bull runner like Schiller wouldn't have done it.
Quarterback keeper for May, and a 2-touchdown lead for Kansas State. He's in there. In this first half from Tucson. Extra point now with the Wildcats start attack on one more. Tate Wright drills it home. Kansas State with a 2-touchdown lead, 16-3.
Kevin Saunders is an illustrious Kansas State alum, class of 1978, one of the world's finest wheelchair athletes. And several years ago, he developed a very special relationship with Coach Bill Snyder's daughter, Meredith. How did that happen, Kevin?
Well, I met Coach Snyder's daughter after he told me about her auto accident. And I went to visit her in the hospital, and I took her a little lion, a symbol of courage. And I said, when something happens to you like that, you have to have courage. You have to want to come back. I know, because what I went through in a terrible accident that I was involved in, and she got involved in this clinic now, and she's rebuilding her paralyzed muscles. So it's really great to see somebody come back and to have that strong fighting attitude, just like Coach Snyder has.
And she's walking again today.
Happy New Year, Meredith.
Thanks, Kev.
Thank you, Mike. Great story. Run is thrown at the 5 for Wyoming. Hangs out to about the 17. The long drive by Kansas State, and the quarterback took it in for 6.
The 5 runs were significant because they are so positive. It has really kept Wyoming on their heels. They just are not being aggressive with their linebackers. They've got to fill the gaps, shed the blocks, make the tackle.
Thinking about being down 16-3 as Wyoming is right now, is with that quick strike offense in one play, it can be a completely different story.
Ball game can be 26-3 and Wyoming can win it.
Hughes with the pocket crumbling. It's Christopherson on the backfield. He's got the first down, and he's drilled on a play near the 31. Gain of 13 on the play, and he throws to his fullback, Christopherson. Only caught a handful of receptions during the season, but he comes up big right there.
You noticed Hughes looks down the field, 1-2, immediately turned his shoulders to the left, knew his guy was in the flat. Got the ball. Christopherson was able to make a move and go for the flat.
When you got the kind of lead Kansas State's defense has right now, do you change your philosophy or do you keep what you had coming into the game?
Got to keep it there. Really do. Keep it with what you've had.
There's Christopherson. And he picks up perhaps a yard, maybe a yard and a half. What about Wyoming? What do they do now? Down as they are, 16-3. Offensively.
I run the ball, but I don't run it to the outside with Christopherson. I try to hit tackle to tackle to bring them up a little bit. I'll go empty set so that I can spread the secondary out and throw to Mike Jones, the tight end. Mike Jones is who they've got to find.
Player down for Kansas State. That's Darrell Harbert, junior from Dallas, Texas. As they take a look at him, Wildcats on top midway through the second quarter in Tucson. Fifth annual Weiserloch Copper Bowl from Tucson. Kansas State has got a 16-3 lead. There's the All-America Jamie Mendez watching the Cowboys align on 2nd and 8. Second receiver across the way. Passing is Yarborough. Like that, carry Garrett across the way. Garrett makes the reception, picks up 15 yards. You see that 6, you automatically think it's Yarborough. There's another flag thrown on the far side. And I think it's against Wyoming.
Dead ball after the play. Personal foul, offense. After enforcement of the penalty at 15 yards, it'll be a first down and 10.
Keep your eye right here on the receiver. He's going to want to go deep. He's covered, so he comes back for the reception. It's a great job of Joe Hughes looking at his progression. 1-2. The guy comes back. You notice that? He didn't just keep running up the sideline. Garrett came back to make the reception.
First and 10 for Wyoming. Number 33. Cats line up in that 43 defense. Hughes to the near side. Christopherson. And immediately on the play. Over there was Kenny McIntyre. And then Christopherson, the fullback. Early on in this game, we thought that he was the key, and he ran well the first drive. But since that time, Kansas State has made some adjustment on the coverage of the fullback.
What they've done is they've tried to run Christopherson to the outside, and the secondary has used their mobility, their speed to get up and support quickly on him. That's why I'm saying hit him tight between the tackles.
Second down and 6. Airs it out, far side, looking for Yarborough. Incomplete pass. And that'll bring up third down.
That's Joe Hughes' #1 pass, the fade route. He throws it better than any other pass in his playbook. He gets the play that he wants. Yarborough is there. The free safety, Mendez, can't get over in time to help out. That play, most of the time this season, has been completed. You know, what I'm saying, here's your safety. He's got to come over and help. He didn't get there in time. That's why the play was open.
Third and 6. And across the middle and dropped by Yarborough. Incomplete pass. And for a second time, Wyoming has got to punt the ball away. McIntyre provides the coverage. And this secondary has seemed to gain momentum for Kansas State against this electrifying Wyoming passing attack. Held them the last couple times in a big stand for Kansas State's defense.
It was a stand by Kansas State, but it was mistakes and penalties. As you saw, 5 penalties now against Wyoming, none for Kansas State. That's why the drive was stalled.
Rager, the big old fella back there to punt. And Andre Coleman being chased. Running out of room. Down he goes. 16-yard line. 52-yard punt with a 5-yard return. National Football League on ESPN coming up with game day starting things off this Sunday at noon Eastern time, prime time, following 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Eastern time. And then the big matchup, the New York Jets still alive in the playoff picture at 8-7. Take on the AFC Central Division champion Houston Oilers. They come in 11 up and 4 down. Houston has won a team record 10 consecutive games.
The NFL has finally gotten exciting. The last few weeks, playoff time, the fever's rolling around, teams starting to play. You got the Cowboys and the Giants this weekend playing for all the marbles there. Miami must win against the Patriots. It's going to be a tough game in Foxborough for them.
Patriots are really playing some good football. Busted play. But even on a busted play, they get about 4 to 5 yards on the carry. Kansas State has had the ball 3 previous times tonight. So-so field position, but look at the length of those drives and scoring every time they get the ball.
Wyoming playing typical WAC-style defense, give up the touchdowns, the field goals. They must do something. You saw that last play. As you mentioned, it's a busted play, yet they still pick up 4 or 5 yards. There's no team pursuit right now. They're not getting to the ball.
ridden down like a rodeo cowboy. Brent Schieffer makes the grab. He's out of Omaha, Nebraska, and he grabbed his tail and tore it down.
Well, I guess they've got their helmet cams on and their earplugs because they're listening to us up here. Because sure enough, they got to the football this time. Look at the great job of the penetration, and look at all of the jerseys around the ball. That's what they got to do. Get to the guy and hurt him, man. Put some pressure on the running back.
Now 3rd and 9. An unaccustomed position for this Wildcat offense tonight. Maine, draw play. Smith. He's short of the first down by a yard. A big hit made on the play by the Cowboys with an initial whack across the way was Mark Brook. Number 49. And it forces Kansas State to punt for the first time today. Chad Romano, who started every game as a punter this year and a true freshman. He'll be punting for Kansas State. Snap. And it's off pretty decent punts. Rome with the fair catch on the 36-yard punt. The hang time was what he was looking for, and that's exactly what he got. Romano, whose brother punts at the University of Iowa with the 36-yarder.
Yesterday we were out on the field with him. Romano was really struggling. He's been a huge slump the last week and a half, the coaches have said. He didn't hit one good punt yesterday. His leg has been coming across his body. Watch his right leg. Does it go straight forward or does it come across his body? When it comes across the body, what happens is the leg is over here. You got to punt up through here. You're trying to overkick when you do that.
Good field position for the Cowboys. Ball knocked down. Looking for the tight end on the play, Mike Jones. So punting is important tonight for Wyoming because if Kansas State continues to struggle like they are, they're going to get the kind of field position which they enjoy right now.
Well, we have seen that Kansas State has had long possessions. They've carried the ball down the field. Wyoming needs a chance to have short possessions. And who cut that guy's hair?
I want the name of the barber, so I don't go to him. 2nd down and 10. The ball audible now by Hughes. Hughes pointing for a block, and he gets it. And he's close to a first down. He's at midfield, and he picks it up.
We got to go back, guys. Look, we got to go back now. I've got a kid that has what they call a chili bowl haircut, but it isn't this bad. Now look at the lines and all the free air movement down here, the flow. This is an ESPN2 haircut. This guy could be an announcer. There's your ESPN2 guy right there. ESPN2, he's looking for a job. Hire him.
That poor kid's got his relatives all over the country going, oh my goodness. Flag thrown on 1st and 10. And he's got a receiver, and that's Scott Mimnaugh, a senior tight end from Ashland, Oregon. 19-yard pickup, but let's see what that flag is all about. Wyoming has been bitten by penalties tonight. They have hurt.
Offside, defense, penalty is declined.
But for the first time, they get a break and a first down, and maybe this begins to give them some offensive momentum.
Joe Hughes, he had the quarterback scramble on the play before. He rifles the ball into his receiver then. He knows that he's got to do something with the ball. The offense is all predicated upon his success. Boom! Step down and let it go.
Well, he threaded the needle, didn't he? Hughes, he's got a receiver. It's Eddie Pratt. And he's down inside the 5. With this passing attack, they are never out of it.
Kansas State, when they run the blitz, they better do something with it. Pratt's going to come across the field. He plants. He's going to go back out once he sees that everybody gets in trouble. An excellent job of running his pass pattern, and because of the time that Hughes had, he got him the ball.
1st and goal. Christopherson. And he bulldozes his way over the left guard for 2 down to 3. Upcoming is the 8th play of this drive. Boy, that penalty would have absolutely killed him.
And the 8th play of the drive allows that Wyoming defense, who has been on the field a lot, to sit over there and get a drink of water.
First half coming to a close. Wyoming trying to get it in. Christopherson. Touchdown, Wyoming. Well, that drive and that run couldn't have come at a better time for the Cowboys.
He did it to the outside. I've been questioning his ability to get to the outside, but he broke 2 tackles to get in there and had a great block.
Sorensen with the extra points. And he splits the uprights. 3:38 in the second quarter. Kansas State's lead on a 16-10.
Great block by the fullback. It gives him a chance to break the 1 tackle. Mendez can't make the tackle. 6. Give him an extra one.
Cowboy fans have a reason to be happy because their team just moved downfield well. They got a break on a penalty, and they go in with the touchdown run and get back in this game 16-10 as they still trail the Wildcats. Kansas State's high-hanging kickoff. And the Cats will return it. Mario Smith was the up back, and he takes it with great field position to the Wildcat 44. Out of the sideline now, Mike Adams. Mike.
Kevin, that last touchdown run was pure Ryan Christopherson. I know he got a great block, but a lot of second effort there. He is one of the inspirational leaders of this Wyoming team. That was typical. It gave their team quite a boost. I told him nice run afterwards. He said, forget about that. How did I look in the tees, the tombstone tees? I said, you were great.
These kids, huh? Here's the best field position to start a drive tonight for Kansas State. Play action by May. Boy, there was some blindside pressure provided by Kurt Whitehead, number 99, and May felt it. He really felt it.
Wyoming fans cheering a little bit now. Chad May has not been hit that often in this football game. He feels the pressure, has to deliver the ball. It's an errant pass. Wyoming must continue to get up the field.
Now May will operate from the gun. 6 of 9 passing tonight. And his junior quarterback. On 2nd and 10, he hits Coleman. And he gets out of a trap and spins his way for about 8. He looked like he was dead to rights, and he spun out of that as the second quarter clock continues to tick. No huddle offense now, and that's what Joe Tiller, the coach at Wyoming, has got to have his defense contend with. There's a 3rd and about 2. T.J. Smith down to the 43-yard line. Here's a player who has averaged 68 yards per game this year in the Big 8, and tonight a first half total of 121 yards.
Wyoming's getting killed in their front 7. They're just not making plays. J.J. Smith is the only runner tonight for them. He's taking the place, so he's getting that juice and the rhythm going in the ballgame.
The gun made. Look at the escort he has. And there's Coleman, wide open. He sneaks deep into Cowboy territory. Out of the 22 and a pickup of 21 yards. Maine right on the money.
Kansas State's trying to get an opportunity here. You see the formation. He'll roll. Once he rolls, he knows he's got to give his receiver Coleman enough time to get over there. Coleman shutters it down there just enough so that he can get the ball before he runs into the other side of the field's coverage.
Completion. And a pickup of 3 down to the 19-yard line. This is an interesting response the Kansas State team has to the nice drive put together moments ago by Wyoming. A very positive response for Kansas State.
He's kind of thinking Wyoming, since they had a rest and a breather on defense, that they'd play a little bit better. But Chad May is really setting. He's not. If you don't get pressure on this guy, he's going to hurt you.
On the spread, 2nd and 7. Going for 6. Looking for Mitch running down the sideline, and the coverage was applied by Scott Monroe. Halftime, the Duracell halftime. Take a look at the Orange Bowl with Kansas coach Glenn Mason. He has coached his Jayhawks against both Nebraska and Florida State. Sports Center update. And a look at the Holiday Bowl coming up tomorrow night for San Diego. Quick throw. Coleman on the near side on 3rd and 7. Did not get the first down. He is a yard shy at the 13 of Wyoming, but he does stop the clock with 1:50 left.
He'd have really been aware of what was going on. He'd have known it was 3rd down, that he had to get the first down. Don't go out of bounds to stop the clock. Get the first down.
What would you do on 4th and 1? Go for 3 or go for the first down?
Well, since my guy's already missed one, if I'm the coach, I'd go for it. I really would. I've rushed the ball so well tonight, especially on 3rd down, going for short 2 or 3 yard gains. J.J. Smith has killed him. I'd run the football.
Is Smith the first half story for Kansas State?
He has to be. Because of his running, that's allowed Chad May to be successful, yes.
The Duracell halftime report coming right up. As you get a beautiful aerial view of Arizona Stadium here in Tucson. Jayhawk coach Glenn Mason with some analysis of the upcoming Orange Bowl for the national title. A Sports Center update, busy night in the NBA, in the NHL, and in college basketball. And a look at tomorrow's Holiday Bowl, which you'll see right here on ESPN. Mike Tirico and the crew down in Miami with all the flavor that great city supports for that great game on New Year's night. Stay with us through the halftime. You will get updates from every angle. Now it is 4th and 1. Kansas State trying to come back after Wyoming marched on them and brought the game much closer. Why not try a field goal here? They missed it the last time. Kansas State did, so they're going to go for it on 4th and 1. J.J. Smith. What a pop. What a pop. And it was made in that linebacking core. And there you see Folsom, the leading tackler. Brook was in there, number 49, and the Cowboy defense makes a huge statement before halftime.
Folsom, the linebacker, comes up. He times the snap properly. Nobody blocks him. He's there, makes the play. A huge play for Wyoming. Penetration. Look at all of the black jerseys, brown jerseys that are in there across the line of scrimmage. That's the first time, very few times tonight have they done that.
The defense has bent for the Wyoming Cowboys, but they have not broken all that much. And deep down in territory, they have really gutted it out. Now their offense gets it with about 1:46 remaining. And a quarterback draw by Hughes. And is torn down at the 16. And 2 on the play. If you're Joe Tiller, the coach of Wyoming, what do you try to do here in the final minute and a half?
What he tried to do with that play, the quarterback draw, is to keep the linebackers joined or drawn up to the line of scrimmage. He had an empty backfield set, so he was hoping that he could get the linebackers dropping deep and his quarterback could run. Instead, they were there to make the play. But that means that your wide receivers will be open underneath.
Well, this is one of many bowls on ESPN in the 50 Car Rental Bowl Week. Coming up tomorrow night, BYU against number 11 Ohio State, the Buckeyes, coming out of the Big Ten with a 9-win season. Moving on to the Independence Bowl down in Shreveport on New Year's Eve day. Number 21 Indiana, number 22 Virginia Tech. And then that night, 2 games, beginning with the Peach Bowl. Number 24, Clemson, with the new coach and their 4th different quarterback against Bill Curry in Kentucky. And then we round things up late New Year's Eve at the Alamo Bowl. Iowa against California down in San Antone. Hall of Fame Bowl coming up on New Year's Day. Number 23, Michigan. Boy, they had a great late season surge. Taking on North Carolina State. Who do you like in that game? North Carolina State, Michigan. New Year's Day.
Michigan's got so much talent. They should have had a much better record this year. Just like they blew out Ohio State, watch out NC State.
2nd down and 8. Inside. There's the tight end. He has not caught that many since the first couple of drives by the Cowboys.
He works so well with Ryan Yarbrough. Either Yarbrough deep on the fade, Jones underneath with a crossing route. You've got to stick with it until they absolutely shut it down.
Kansas State must have made some kind of adjustment, whether at their linebackers are trying to contain that tight end, because he was a force in that first drive. They're down in 3. There's Thomas Randolph, All-American cornerback. Hughes to Christopherson. He does not have the first down. So flexing some defensive muscle as well, the Kansas State defense.
Hughes pass complete to number 34, Ryan Christopherson.
Really surprised me, because Hughes is usually a lot smarter than that, and so are his receivers, in that they know what the yardage markers are and what the requirements are for first down.
1:19 left before the half as Joe Hughes goes to the side, and the 3rd punt upcoming for Wyoming, who began the game with a field goal, and Kansas State came right back. Who's Joe? Who's Stacy?
Oh, they make TV and they let it down.
There you go. A fraternity and sorority, obviously, on the Manhattan campus. Manhattan, a town of about 40,000, nestled in the hills, Flint Hills of Kansas. A very picturesque country in that part of the state.
I had a sign made up. Everybody has their own signs. My sign, it didn't make air tonight. It says, "Hey Lee, I'm out of the booth. Out of the studio. I'm in the booth."
What would your banner look like? If you were going to draw a banner, what would it look like?
I mean, it would be one of those. It would be one of those. "Hey Lee, look where I am. Here I am." It'd be one of these things that, I'm over here, Coach, and I can't hear you, but I'm sure you're saying something that I totally disagree with.
Here comes a punt now for Wyoming, and plenty of time for Gregor. And here's one of the most exciting return men in the college game, Andre Coleman, breaking some tackles, getting some blocking, and he's got an entourage up the sideline. Folks, he's gone. A 68-yard punt return for the touchdown, 22-10. Kansas State coming at the most inopportune time for Wyoming, right before the half.
Andre Coleman, they've talked about him a lot so far, but the guy is unbelievable. His ability to accelerate.
Coleman is the only player in college football to rank in the top 15 in all-purpose yards, punt return yards, and kickoff return yards. And he has shown it here tonight. Unbelievable. Watch the blocking materialized on that 68-yard return for a touchdown.
But the blocking wouldn't have materialized had he not allowed it to get there. He has patience. You look at the block right here by Thomas Randolph. That pushes it just enough for him to get over there. Then the wall is formed. Once he gets inside this wall, look at the 3 guys. I mean, this is one of those that I think Harlan could have run down the sidelines with. Of course, Kevin wouldn't have gotten to the sideline. But Andre Coleman, his ability to be patient. See, if you've got great speed, you can be patient because you know that you can get to the corner when it opens up. Andre
Coleman from Hermitage, Pennsylvania. He was a kid who was sought after by many schools, but came to Kansas State with the chance to play. He's a great wide receiver. You can tell with the reaction in the end zone of the Wildcat players what that touchdown meant. It will have far-reaching effects, which then brings the beginning of the second half into clear focus. You see the response. Wyoming. Now Kansas State will go for 2 as May aligns in the gun. Well, let's see if he audibleized into the right play. He did. 2-point conversion. He audibled at the line. It was the right read by quarterback Chad May.
Well, when he does this, he's not a great option quarterback, but he knows whenever he has a running lane, you see the linebacker jump to the outside for the pitch back. Tackle drives his man out, the defensive lineman, no penetration, and you'll see that whenever this guy jumps up the field, it's going to clear the quarterback to go underneath, and then the tackle, he locks onto his guy. You'll see this block right here. Nobody can get to the quarterback. He drives him completely out of the picture. Great job by the lineman.
Well, for all these seniors on the Kansas State side, it's very, very big time. And for Wyoming, just as elated as Kansas State was, they are just as down. To play for these bowl games, to try to get to this point, to try to make a season pay off with this kind of appearance. It's got to be frustrating at times, especially when you've had the success Wyoming has had throughout this season of the Western Athletic Conference.
There was a lot of emotion on Wyoming's bench after that 2-point conversion. A lot of talking to each other. A lot of times you'll see teams fall apart, completely get blown mentally out of the game. It might have made them just mad enough, nasty enough on defense within themselves that they come back and play better.
Well, what was it, about 3, 4, 5 minutes ago we said that they had bent but not broken. That may have broken.
And it came on the special teams.
Yes, and it came before halftime. Mike, what do you have on the sideline for us?
Yeah, Wyoming's so mad that they drew a personal foul on that last play. Ryan Folsom got into an argument with Barrett Brooks, and so as a result, Kansas State now kicking off from the 50.
We saw Talent, who was really ticked off after the play, and he went storming to the side. And on the ground, it's the kickoff by K-State. Prentice Rome. Well, there's some heavy hitting going on down there. And that is the kamikaze on defense. Eckler. He is mad. He's absolutely mad.
Mike Eckler, he went in, he used to play baseball. He said, "Coach, let me walk on." They said, "Well, okay." They put him on special teams. He started making all the plays. Check him out. Ooh. He isn't finished. He's looking for the play. You think he's pumped? This guy is, they say, is a wild man from the word go. Jim Leavitt, their defensive coordinator, says he's my favorite player. He's an insane guy that just wants to hit.
Flipping around like a rag doll out there. It's down and 10. And we got flags and they blow it dead in mid-motion. Well, he looks like he plays, doesn't he?
Well, I don't know who. Kansas, Manhattan. Now, Kevin, if I decide to get into the barber business, I know I can do a better job than what they're getting done in Manhattan, Kansas.
Encroachment, defense, 5 yards, first down.
Eckler not good enough to play at Nebraska. He's from Blair, Nebraska, and as he was growing up there, he said shops would close in his town, radios would be tuned to the Cornhusker games. That was his dream. It never materialized. He comes down to Kansas State, and he earns his way on special teams, and now he also plays some defense as well. And he makes an impact every time he's on the field. Well, Wyoming, with 50 seconds remaining before halftime, needs to get something going, something positive into the halftime locker room.
They need to be poised. They cannot make a mistake down here right now. They also need to move the ball down the field. And that's the kind of deal that can draw the linebackers up. I'm still looking for number 81, Mike Jones. I've got to get the guy the ball if I'm the quarterback and the coach at Wyoming.
Well, he's elected to run down that clock, Joe Tiller has, with a 2nd and 5. And there's Jones, who Craig was just talking about. They're going to run it out. There's Christopherson. He was upended on the side by Kenny McIntyre. The secondary is beginning to take a hold of this game. All right, first half has come to a close. You see the elation on the Kansas State sideline as they've built up a 24-10 lead. And maybe the backbreaker was Andre Coleman's punt return for a touchdown of 68 yards. Joe Tiller's got to get his crew to regroup. He does have statistically the most prolific wide receiver in the history of the game. He's got a good strong-arm quarterback. And he indeed will make a statement. You can bet on that coming out of halftime and going into the second half. This is the Weiser Law Copper Bowl presented by Duracell, and our score 25-10 Kansas State. Welcome back to Arizona Stadium, Tucson, Arizona. The Weiser Law Copper Bowl presented by Duracell. Kansas State with a halftime 24-10 lead over the Wyoming Cowboys. With Craig James, Kevin Harlan. A missed opportunity early for the Wyoming Cowboys may have set the tone defensively for Kansas State.
Well, Wyoming comes out. Ryan Yarbrough, they want to get him in the game early. First series, Joe Hughes gets back, reads over the top Yarbrough. This is what Kansas State did not want to have happen. It's 6, right? Wrong. They bring it back because Wyoming was offside. Stop your screen. The guy's moving. Tight end's got to get set, get out into position. Ball snapped while he's moving. That nullified the touchdown.
And they had to settle for the field goal. What about Andre Coleman, one of the most electrifying players in college football right now? He came on big late in the first half with a 68-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Wyoming didn't want to give it up on defense. Instead, they give it up on the special teams. Coleman, I said it earlier, the guy has a lot of patience. He's got a ton of speed. You see him down the sidelines. He does it catching the ball. He does it running the ball, kick returns. A number of ways that this guy's one of the more explosive players in the United States.
Well, Wyoming's going to have to come out staunch here to begin the second half because the flow of this game is definitely going toward the Wildcats.
Wyoming needs to run the football, find Mike Jones going across the middle that opens up Ryan Yarbrough.
Well, what's a bowl game without a queen and her court? We're going to see the queen and her court, Julia Benjes, riding in that beautiful Ford Mustang, circling Arizona Stadium.
News and World Report calls us one of the nation's leading universities. The National University Guide says we're of best value in higher education. Barron says we're a perfect size for a university. We're recommended for more undergraduate majors than any other university in the Rocky Mountains. And Money Guide ranks us the 13th best buy among all public universities. Who are they talking about? The University of Wyoming.
Well, we'll begin the second half. Kansas State on top by 14, 24-10. Wyoming to kick off. From Tucson. Under it, Andre Coleman. And look at the hole he's got here. Onto the 36-yard line. Boy, that close. Let's go downstairs to Mike Adelman. Mike?
Well, Kevin, the big adjustment that the Wyoming coaches talked about at halftime was defensively, of course, as you might expect. They were so worried about the passing of Chad May that they were thinking pass rush all the way, their front seven, that is. Well, this time around, now that J.J. Smith has had such a big game, they are thinking stop the run first, and hopefully that will help affairs for the Cowboys. Kevin?
Mike, any idea on what kind of adjustments Wyoming's defense may make to stop number 22, J.J. Smith? And we'll see if he gets the call right here. And he slashes up the middle and picks up about 3. Any indication, Mike?
Again, basically think run first. They are pulling their ears back and trying to rush the passer, and what they realize is, hey, we're getting beat on trap. They were trapping both their defensive ends, so they're thinking run first, basically, Kevin.
It's a good point he makes there. Think run, especially your linebackers. The linebackers have been nowhere near the running game tonight. They've got to get up and be more supportive when the guy gets the ball.
Second down and 7. On the shotgun. Good blocking for May. And throws across his body to Coleman. It's a foot race down the sideline. Touchdown, Kansas State. Chad Chad May is down in the elation that is now surrounding Andre Coleman, who has absolutely been scintillating tonight. That was good for 61 yards.
Coleman needs to go over and make sure May's okay, because Chad May, what a gutsy throw this is. A big league arm to get it back across the field. And when you get the ball in Coleman's hands, there's a great chance he's going to find the end zone, just as he does here. A tremendous athlete that goes all the way.
Extra point by Tate Wright. And with the extra point, Kansas State leads it 31-10. Hopefully, though, not sacrificing their quarterback, Chad May, who throws the touchdown but gets knocked into next week as the Wildcats lead.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week, the 1993 Weiser Copper Bowl, presented by Duracell, is brought to you by the Arizona Office of Tourism. For more information, call 1-800-842-8257. And by the all-new Ford Mustang. It is what it was, and more.
Kansas State to kick off after Coleman races 61 yards for his second touchdown of the night. And this is kicked out to Phoenix. That was way out of the end zone. 31-10. Kansas State is on top. In the third quarter this season, Kansas State has come blowing out of the chute. Look at what they have done and the adjustments they have made coming out of halftime all season long.
Potentially one of those adjustments was the rolling of the pocket, get May out of the pocket, knowing that Wyoming would be inside, focusing on the run. May finding his receiver, which breaks down what the defense has tried to convert.
Well, Hughes now with his back against the wall, stranded at his 20. To Christopherson. They come at him in waves. There's a fumble on the play. At the 14, recovered by no indication. Yep, Kansas State has it. Kansas State has it. The second turnover tonight by Wyoming. And that tells the story of the Cowboy faithful. You cannot make mistakes, especially in such a critical time as right out of the half.
I'm a little surprised Wyoming is trying to run him outside. I know he broke the tackles to score the touchdown earlier. This is an inside runner. There's great team support from the outside from Kansas State. They can get to the ball on the perimeters. You got to stay inside the tackles, throw the ball that you've done all year to the guy underneath on the crossing pattern.
Chad May, after taking the big hit on the touchdown pass in the game and with a golden opportunity. J.J. Smith, like a pinball, he's battering off the defensive players and takes it for a gain of a couple. Well, Kansas State led at halftime, 24-10. And on the first possession of the first series for this Kansas State team, they get a long touchdown pass on the heels of a punt return just before halftime. Both for touchdowns and both by Andre Coleman. On the gun, second and 9 for Chad May. Moving up, taken down. Big sack, the first of the night by the Wyoming defense and by Kurt Whitehead, number 99. He has played the entire season with a pin in his left thumb to help repair a broken bone. He has been a man tonight. Screen pass out to J.J. Smith. Weaving by defenders. He does not have the first down. He picks up 9 on the play. And he's near the 10. Mike, come on in.
Well, Kevin, the doctors aren't saying, the team doctors are for Kansas State, that is, but Chad May has a bruised left hand to the best of my knowledge. What I can see, there's a black and blue mark on it. It looked like he might have had it stepped on. It's not his passing hand, obviously, and the doctors felt that he was good enough to go back in there. So good idea to keep an eye on him, and he is having ice applied to it after every series.
Well, from this distance, on this 28-yard field goal attempt, Wright is 2 of 3 this season, and he is no good here. He is wide to the right. The all-time leading scorer in Kansas State history. I think he's thinking it may have snuck in the top there, Craig.
He's arguing his point, but he'll not get that point. That's a big break.
Right is right. 31-10, Kansas State. Greg James, we're at a point of the game now where Kansas State has already scored a touchdown here in the third quarter, and if Wyoming is going to stay in it, this is as crucial a drive for them. Maybe not necessarily scoring, but just moving the ball, getting back some confidence.
Wyoming can be offensive here. Kansas State potentially can slack up mentally just a little bit to open up a big play.
It's 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. They're coming at him. They're coming at him. And they get Christopherson. The tackle made by Kirby Hokut, number 45 on the fullback Christopherson. The pressure was applied by the quarterback on the near side. And I mean, to tell you, they're trying to really put pressure on that quarterback. Kit Rawlings was the fourth of the great foursome.
I mentioned that they may let up mentally a little bit over at Kansas State. That's one way the defensive coordinator can keep them from that. Run the blitz, make your guys play aggressive football so they don't go to sleep.
2nd down and 14. Yarborough. He's up to the 23 and shy of the first down by a good 6-7 yards. Kip Rawlings there once again. Larry Beach gave some help. And tonight, Yarborough has not been the big man we anticipated he might be. Just 3 catches for 35 yards. Secondary has done a great job.
They haven't blitzed as much as I thought they would. They led us to believe it was going to be every other play.
All-America Jamie Mendez, number 32. 3rd and 6. He's down. Sacked by Dirk Oaks. Back at the 12. And a loss of 12. Well, we said it was a crucial drive. What do you think now after watching what Kansas State's defense just did?
Put the pressure on him. I was watching Jones, a tight end. He was locked in man with a defensive end. I mean, you got to take advantage of those things, but it's hard to do that when somebody's in your quarterback's face.
Greger to punt. I don't know if I've ever seen a punter this big and muscular. I told you before, he is a former high school state champion in the discus. I don't know many punters that have been discus champions before. This kid's a big boy back there.
Well, I got my feelings about kickers.
You were a kicker, that's so cool.
Yeah, but I played a position. I mean, you know, I was a player.
9:24, we're in the third. 31-10, Kansas State. I don't have to tell you which side of the field that is. It's the Wyoming sideline. They're down now, 31-10. Rager inside his 5 to punt. Trey Coleman back near midfield for Kansas State. Much hang time, and they try to kick it away from Coleman. In turn, give Kansas State some outstanding field position at the Cowboy 46, a 35-yard punt. Met Blimp with co-pilot Snoopy flying at an altitude of 1,000 feet to bring you these aerial shots of the beautiful Copper Bowl here in absolutely gorgeous Tucson. Snoopy 1 travels over 60,000 miles per year, covering a variety of special events. And we thank them tonight for the great views of this tremendous area. K-State 1st and 10. Little play action by May. Here comes the rush. On the fly, he throws, hits. Mitch running. A sophomore from Decorah, Iowa. 13-yard pickup. This kid's pretty good out of the pocket on the fly, isn't he?
They are spreading Wyoming out so thin, they are confused completely over there.
No huddle for Kansas State with a 31-10 lead, too.
On most all of their plays, they audible, they check at the line of scrimmage, and they will use the entire play clock.
A little high for J.J. Smith, open in the flat at about the 30-yard line. Incomplete pass. It's one of the few times May has not been on the money tonight.
He really has had an outstanding game. Andre Coleman has had an outstanding game. Wyoming, you know, they've been real soft in coverage. Got to roll the dice at some point, try to create a turnover.
Second and 10. Out of the side. Finds the wide receiver, Mitch running. May transferred from Cal State Fullerton, program which was really struggling to keep things loose. He dyed his hair. We talked about that. Finally, they dropped the program, and he wanted to go find a place where he could play. They were changing their offense there, and he wanted to go to a place where he could play. So the coach at Cal State Fullerton sent out a highlight tape of May, and ended up in the offices at Kansas State, and he's a Wildcat in a bowl game. And engineering the 20th ranked team in college football right now to a 31-10 lead over Wyoming. There was a flag thrown on that play.
Decline that, make them punt.
Holding, offense, penalty is declined. Fourth down.
At some point, Wyoming needs to have a big play. They just have not done that. We talked about the average yards per play that they've had throughout the season at 6.7. They have been dynamite at creating big plays.
Now 4th and 7. And they're going for it. There's 7:53 left in the third quarter. May down the sideline. What a catch! Kevin Lockett, the freshman, touchdown. Kansas State, 30-yard touchdown reception.
Once he rolls the pocket, the secondary scrambling, trying to find people. They've done a nice job of getting people open, but that's just a great catch. I mean, an outstanding catch by Lockett, a freshman that goes up, grabs the ball at its highest point.
6. Kevin Lockett, number 83. Extra point here by Wright. Is right through. Kevin Lockett, the number 2 receiving freshman in college football behind Maryland's Jermaine Lewis. Known for the spectacular catch all season long. He gets tonight a chance to show it on national TV and extend the Kansas State lead to 38-10.
When things go good, they go good for you. Lockett, when he released to go out, look at him at the 20-yard line. He steps out of bounds. When he goes out of bounds, right in here, official didn't see the thing. He comes back in, makes the touchdown reception. Should not have been. Got to have luck.
For that catch, it's worth it.
Well, not only that, I thought his right foot went out of bounds before the ball went across the goal line.
Lockett is from the state of Oklahoma. He hails from Tulsa. He was hardly recruited by the Oklahoma Sooners, came to K-State because he wanted to play, and he has played, believe me. Mike Adelman. Mike, what you see on the sideline down there?
Well, Kevin, I was standing at the 20, and Kevin Lockett stepped out of bounds. I was standing next to several Wyoming players and former players, and they're all going crazy. Wait a minute. This shouldn't be a legal catch. The officials just missed it.
You're right. When it goes well, it's going well.
But It is Wyoming, a team from the WAC. I can't say it. I've been around a lot of WAC games and seen a lot of great comebacks.
And the Cowboys have had a couple great comebacks this year. One time they were down by 22 points. And they went on to win 32-28. That was against Fresno State.
We had a chance. I talked about the pep rally that we were at last night, Kansas State. Their fans are really excited about this opportunity. The atmosphere down here has been tremendous for the players and the fans.
Hughes to the tight end, Mike Jones. And he twists his way from about 6 near the 31-yard line. Tackle made by Laird Veach. There were a couple great comebacks for the Cowboys this year, but the most memorable took place in Laramie just before Halloween. They were down 21, make it 28-10. And they beat Fresno State with that great quarterback, Trent Dilfer, 32-28. So it has happened, and it is in their box. On 2nd and 4, here's Yarborough. A flag has been thrown. He's got the first down, but then the ball is jarred free and fumbled on a play. Still Wyoming's ball, but let's get into this penalty flag. 2 of them, in fact, thrown on the field. It's against Kansas State, I believe. Ball remains Wyoming's.
Hey, what's the flag for?
Pac-10 crew here tonight in Tucson.
Offside, defense, 5 yards. A penalty is declined. First down.
Well, the drive continues for Wyoming, who have really not had the best beginning field position, especially in contrast to what Kansas State has struggled with in the second half.
Really hasn't mattered tonight for Kansas State. They could have started on their goal line and gone 100 yards to score.
First and 10. Out of the money again. Gain of 8 yards. Yarborough.
And at some point, instead of Yarborough coming across the middle, they'll run him on the fade route. They've run the fade route only about 1 time tonight that I can recall. He overthrew Yarborough on the left flat early.
What is it about the fade that you like, and what makes that play work so well?
With a guy like Ryan Yarborough and his height, I like the advantage he has over a defensive back. Throw the ball to the outside corner so that he can go up and make the play by himself.
Hard to go for first down on second down, and a little bit wide for the tight end, Mike Jones. Hughes had hit his last 9 consecutive passes. Now he's got 3rd and 1.
It's almost 4 down territory. Wyoming's got to go for it. They cannot put their defense back on the field.
Hughes has played most of the season with a broken index finger on his throwing hand. Even against Air Force earlier on, he broke that finger, so he's had to play through the pain of that throughout most of the year. Little dart throws, and he's got the first down for the 49-yard line. That's made by Mike Jones. Sheriff Garland is going to get better. Team's moving the ball.
That's how you recruit at Wyoming. See, pretty girls like that make television. High school recruits say, yeah, I may visit Wyoming.
First and 10. Wyoming at their own 49, and offsides against Kansas State. There's a flag and a free down, and the pass completed to Eddie Pratt, junior from San Bernardino, California. Gain of 12 on the play.
Offside, defense, penalty is declined. First down.
With a 38-10 lead, you can play soft. Look at the cushion. There are a lot of pockets in here that they can get. Look at them. They clear out of there, and as long as you have time on the clock, Joe Hughes should go ahead and take advantage of it. Get it to somebody that's not covered in the slot. Let him run for 10 or 12 yards.
Going for Yarborough with that fade that Craig was just talking about. Pass a little overthrown, but it was to his outside shoulder, which you recommended as the backup quarterback for the Kansas State Wildcats, warming up on the sideline across the way. Second down and 10. Shotgun snap, quarterback drawn. Look at the big hole. He's got a first down. Inside the 25, down to the Kansas State 24 on the quarterback draw. Joe Hughes picks up 15 yards.
Really impressed with Wyoming's coaching staff. They see there's nobody back here for him to cover up the quarterback. Nobody's there. You've got plenty of running lane for the quarterback to go. Then watch his patience. He sees the block from backside. Mendez, 32, comes in, can't make the play. It's a big pickup.
That's the longest run tonight by Wyoming. Hughes again. The near side, looking for Yarborough, who is getting some contact inside the 5-yard line. No flag, no harm. Incomplete pass. Coverage is applied by Thomas Randolph.
And you see now Yarborough, what he's looking for. He's being invited to the outside. Randolph says you go to the outside. That's where the ball should be played. A little contact there. I think Yarborough may have put his hand on Randolph.
You also saw that he had Mendez giving him some help, so if he just used that sideline as like another defender.
Correct. And they told us Hughes, his best pass was the fade. It's just not been there for him.
So far tonight, 10th play of the drive. Wyoming trailing 38-10. Dump it off, Stofferson. There was pressure up the middle. And the pass incomplete for Joe Hughes. NFL scouts really like this kid. He's got a good arm. Got a chance. Interesting prospect. Look at the two quarterbacks tonight. May of Kansas State, Joe Hughes, who you see for Wyoming. 13 more attempts by Hughes.
You were right about the running game. J.J. Smith for Kansas State has been the difference.
He's the guy. 3rd and 10. Boy, they had the blitz coming on. Deflected pass, almost picked off, incomplete. Steve Hanks just about got a hand on it across the way. He is a sophomore from Manhattan. And that pressure, that endless pressure on Joe Hughes, forcing that pass a little bit quicker probably than he wanted to throw.
He thought he had Yarborough coming on the inside slant, but that safety was coming over. He'd an ear hold Yarborough if he'd have caught the ball, though.
Only down 38-10. You got to do it on 4th and 10. Hughes. Out of bounds, incomplete. It goes back to Kansas State. They have shut down Yarborough. They have contained the running of Christopherson. And Mike Adamle, things are going the way of the Wildcats right now.
You know, Wyoming has had many illustrious coaches in their past. Bob Devaney, Fred Akers, Pat Dye, Dennis Erickson, and maybe no one more illustrious than Paul Roach, now the athletic director. And I thought we were going to get a smile on your face finally on that 4th and 10 situation, but it was not to be. Got to be a tough night for an athletic director to endure.
Mike, we should have done this interview in the second quarter when it was 16-10. But the bowl games are a great reward for the players and coaches. It's a positive thing for the program and our university in the state of Wyoming.
So it is a positive thing, win or lose. This has got to do wonders for recruiting and whatnot.
Well, yeah, it does. I mean, it'd be nicer if it was a little tighter here tonight. But overall, we've been to 4 in the last 7 years, and Wyoming's had a lot of tradition in football. This was our 100th year of football, and it's been a really good year.
Paul, thanks for dropping by. I know it's been a tough evening, but we enjoyed having you here.
Good luck to you, Mike.
Okay. Kevin?
Thank you, Mike. 2nd down and 4. And it's a quarterback keeper with flags thrown after the play. I'm thinking of the athletic director, Paul Roach, who was a longtime assistant coach in the NFL. And I watched Bill Snyder stroll the sidelines and think back 5 years ago when they somehow, some way lured him to Iowa City and Hayden Fry's staff. And the athletic director then was Steve Miller, who's now working for Nike up in Beaverton, Oregon. But he's the one who somehow coached this longtime assistant into taking the head job, but he wanted some things done. And Miller answered. And now the current athletic director has been able to fulfill some of those promises as well.
Plus, they were able to pay assistant coaches really well to lure them away from other programs to give them a solid staff that would stay around for a long term to build a program.
Again, 2nd and 9. Knocked down, incomplete pass. Intended on the play. Or the tight end. Finishing that up just one quick second. Paying assistant coaches, that's something that you don't see or read a lot about. I guess it's obviously important.
If you can tell an assistant coach in college football that he'll have some security, financially and long-term security, you've got a chance to keep him at your university. Especially, you got to have it to get somebody, when they were at the point they were, to go to Kansas State.
3rd and 9 for May, and again he's on the run. There's a flag. And he throws into traffic, almost picked off. Down the near side by Prentice Roan, and Steve Hendricks was there as well. Double coverage, and May throwing it up. There was a flag thrown on them. And it's against the Wildcats. They poured a lot of money, too, into the Kansas State facilities. Talking to some of these fifth-year seniors that were the first recruiting class for Bill Snyder, the coach of the Wildcats. They had a rickety old press box, a torn-up field, no coaches' locker rooms, no weight room. I mean, it was in complete disrepair. And they've poured almost $10 million into the facilities. And now their indoor facility is second to none in college football. They've got a press box. It's like a condominium. It's fabulous. It's indescribable, the changes that have come about in 5 years.
You've got to be unique if you're going to come from behind. If you're flat on your back as a university and an athletic program in football, you got to build the facilities that will help attract the top athletes.
Romano to punt for a 2nd time tonight, going for Prentice Roan, who makes the fair catch at about the 40-yard line. 35-yard punts. Mike, what do you think about Kansas State and their revitalization?
Well, Kevin, they've had help in a lot of different, came from a lot of different directions. Several years ago, a man by the name of Dave Wagner won one of the biggest lotteries in Kansas history. What did he do with his money? He didn't buy a yacht. He didn't buy a mansion. Part of that windfall went to buying AstroTurf. And the bottom line of the story is that they didn't call him, he called them. Dave Wagner called the athletic department and said, here's $1 million for AstroTurf. And they've done quite a job. That's just part of the football success story at Kansas State.
Something Yarborough with the reception on the far side, Craig.
I've got a feeling I'm going to win the Texas lottery. I'm sending SMU $1 million. Go ahead and write it down. Just let me win the lottery. And
You'll do it.
Oh, you guys will be talking about me.
They'll give it away. Well, there was a story that Snyder himself wrote a check when he was hired saying, can this get the ball rolling in terms of fundraising for the school? Taking money out of his own coffer to at least draw some interest.
I was really impressed with Snyder during our conversation.
I was too. 2nd down and 3. Hughes, Christofferson. Wow, he is met hog-tied by Kenny McIntyre. Snyder, a coach that has orchestrated this great comeback, best record they've had this year since 1931, second ever bowl game. A guy that gets very little sleep and eats very little. Sometimes it's 2, 3 in the morning before he eats his first food of the day.
Well, he and I definitely do not run from the same family. I go to bed thinking about breakfast.
Defensive back. There goes Christofferson out. There goes another flag. 2:29 remaining.
Brought down to number 92, Tim Cole. There's a flag.
On the other side of the field, you got Joe Tiller, the coach of Wyoming.
Good ball, no play, false start, offense. Repeat third down.
And just as impressive as Kansas State's coaches, 100 years of football. I didn't know that.
You know, they were a state for 100 years.
And look at the percentage of winning. They are a solid university that have beautiful facilities and a good coaching staff. I can't say enough good things about Wyoming, too.
3rd and 6 for Hughes with Christopherson in motion. Look out, here comes the blitz, and down he goes. Sacked by Laird Veach, his 2nd sack of the season. No place to go if it's coming from the blind side.
Got to have somebody over there. That's where the one-back formation hurts you. If you have 2 back there, potentially he's over there to help block. Veach comes through clean, makes the play. Regardless of what happens down in the secondary, if you can't see them, you don't make the plays. Now, there's a guy that had a good haircut.
He did. Oh, it's almost blocked, but the punt goes downfield. Andre Coleman. That's the fair catch on a knee at the 33. Penalty flag back where that punt was let loose at the 26-yard line. For Wyoming, this is their 3rd bowl in the last 7 years. And they have had great success over the last couple years. The 2 seasons leading into this were losing years, but this year was absolutely remarkable.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, defense, 15 yards, automatic first down.
As we're talking about bowls, College Bowl game day, New Year's Day, Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. With Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and the Big Pony Craig James, live from Miami. I'll preview the Orange Bowl, take a look back at the last time Wisconsin was in the Rose Bowl. West Virginia, the team left out of the national championship picture, as well as previewing all the day's bowl games. And there are a bunch. 1st and 10. Hughes, who locates and finds Yarborough on the cross at the 45 and a gain of 5. Now we've seen at a pregame show tonight, those folks enjoying themselves down in Miami. What do you think about this Orange Bowl setup right now with Florida State against a tough Nebraska team, an unbeaten Nebraska team?
Florida State favored by well over 2 touchdowns. I think they really need to hammer Nebraska. They've got to beat them solidly, because if West Virginia beats Florida, which I think will happen, then West Virginia deserves a right to the national championship.
2nd and 5. Hughes staggers and regains his footing. Hits Yarborough for a first down. Down to the Kansas State 35. Gain of 10 in the play. Tackle made by Thomas Randall.
Of course, you look at Notre Dame. Notre Dame says, we beat Florida State, we hammered Texas A&M, why shouldn't we be the national champion? And it all comes around once again, this time of the year, we talk about a playoff system. Well, eventually, athletic departments are going to lose enough money, the presidents will vote it in, and there will be some form of super conferences where it takes place.
Well, they do it in Division II. Division III, they play the playoffs, don't they?
They've got to come to the realization that the fans want to see it. Fans, I'm a fan, you're a fan, I'd love to see the opportunity.
1st and 10 for Hughes, and then short drop back again, and the reception, no, dropped by Scott Nimnaugh. It'll be 2nd and 10.
We had the College Awards banquet down in Orlando a few weeks ago. Spent some time with Charlie Ward. He was talking about how, hey guys, he asked Chris Fowler, and he goes, do we really need to win by more than 1 point? Do we need a convincing win to claim the national championship? He was worried about it. And we said, most definitely, you've got to beat them convincingly. And I believe that the Florida State team as a whole, they're thinking about that too. They know they've got to win convincingly, and Nebraska's using it on their side too. They're going to try to go out and hammer Charlie Ward.
1st and 5, and Christopherson is tackled from behind. Dirk Oaks will make the stop for Kansas State. Coming into this game, stopping number 34 was a priority for Kansas State. He ran well to begin the game, but since that time, Kansas State has made adjustments, and they have taken hold of this game. 38-10, Kansas State with the lead in the Copper Bowl. Inside Arizona Stadium, Tucson, Arizona. Mr. James will have a hot dog and I'll have a popcorn.
I'll have 3.
7 down and 4. Going long, Yarborough 9 and 4. Can't clutch onto it. It'll be third down with Wyoming trailing 38-10. They need to do just about everything. Kansas State tonight, folks, has engineered some beautiful drives. J.J. Smith has been the surprise player in a game that we thought would be dominated by the pass. Wyoming has been bit by penalties, 8 of them, and the 2 turnovers costly as well.
Penalties cost them a touchdown. The turnovers have hurt them. J.J. Smith, most of those yards came in the first half. He's really been silent in the second half.
There's Andre Coleman, number 2. We got a touchdown and under a minute mark remaining in the first half and beginning the second half. Another touchdown. Here comes the blitz. Hughes moving up to evade and misses the receiver. They're coming at him in waves. The defense, and maybe we haven't given Kansas State enough credit with this, Greg, but the defense of Kansas State after that first drive in which Wyoming just buzzsawed right through them, really made some nice adjustments and just closed the door.
They're doing it with the pressure up in the front 7 right now. They were doing it earlier just with good coverage and not allowing the big play with the run.
And Wyoming's offense is not just a regular. I mean, this is one of the high-powered offenses in the league. 4th and 4, you got to go for it. Hughes, here they come again. A little bit back to Ryan Yarborough, incomplete pass, and again Hughes has to scrape himself off the turf here in Tucson. It has been a long night for that senior from Ridley, California.
You talk about seniors, and we've mentioned it, but it is true. A great reward for Kansas State seniors, their final ball game, as well as for Wyoming's players. They've all put a lot of their heart and effort into these universities, and they're going to help to continue the tradition at Wyoming. And for Kansas State, they're hoping that it starts to create momentum that allows tradition to come in.
First and 10. I take it by momentum. You're talking about recruiting.
Talk about recruiting, and the coaches were saying that they have a great emphasis that they place on the state of Florida and the state of Texas. They talk about the state of Kansas that will have its share of top high school athletes, blue chippers, but that Texas and Florida may have 300 coming out of there. And they have enough now Floridians on their team that when they bring in kids from that state, they feel comfortable, like they know somebody there.
Second down. And around to Coleman. Got a great block. And he's got the first down. And he's out to the 40-yard line. Let's go downstairs to Mike Edwards. Mike.
Well, Kevin, you were talking about recruiting speed out of Florida. That has been the most alarming thing about this game, talking to the Wyoming people. They just weren't ready for Kansas State speed. It's a little like going to the Indianapolis 500. Unless you see the cars from the pits, you really have no idea how fast they're going. From your vantage point up in the press box, Kansas State speed is impressive. From my vantage point down here on the sidelines, it is alarming. These guys can flat out fly, and that's been the difference tonight, as you well know.
Mike, first and 10. The pitch and the bobbled ball by J.J. Smith, but I think he tucked it on in as he falls at the 38. What do you look in the NFL? What does Jimmy Johnson relied on at Miami and Dallas? Speed. What is Dave Wannstedt trying to do in Chicago? Trying to get speed. Everyone wants that one thing you cannot teach. And at the college level, as Mike just accurately pointed out, it is alarming to see what kind of speed and what it can do for a team like Kansas State.
They're in the Big 8. Tom Osborne has openly admitted that he must recruit like Florida State and Miami, so he's gone south trying to get speed at his university. So if Kansas State's going to win the Big 8, they got to compete and recruit like a Nebraska team.
On second and 12, he's got running, but the pass a little bit high. The coverage applied by Darrell Rory on the far side. I think they're throwing with a 38-10 lead.
That's just the nature of their offense. You know, they tried to run the ball on the previous play. J.J. Smith was smothered, almost fumbled, turned it over. Chad May has thrown the ball well. They go to the line of scrimmage. 40% of their time, they are calling it from the line of scrimmage, taking what the defense gives them. So therefore, you're running and you're implementing your offense.
3rd and 12. Tough night for the Cowboys. They're early in the 4th quarter. Shuttle pass. J.J. Smith weaving and turning his way, and he's out near a first down, about 1.5 yards shy, as he was swerving out to the 48-yard line. Tackle made by Chuck Polson, defensive back, number 36, and for the Cowboys of Wyoming, it's not going to be enough. So here comes Romano to punt once again for Kansas State.
It'll be 4 just a little less than 2 for first down.
Deep back is Roan, number 28 for the Cowboys. Marcus Roan is a senior, 5'8". Romano's had punts of 36 and 35 yards, and the punt is blocked this time. And picked up by Wyoming. Blocked by Jay Jenkins, number 42. Well, when you look for things that could trigger offense, and Wyoming has got a bushel full of weaponry that they can throw at you, it's never too late. 12 minutes remains in the game.
Well, when things are going bad, they're going bad. They get a break here. You get the pressure that comes from the middle of the field. They get the block. Then you would hope that after the block, they can pick it up. Nobody even blocks him. He comes clean. He could have almost taken him off his foot, literally. Nobody. And this is just a breakdown in your special teams. This is the kind of thing that I know it's late in the game. I mean, this is not going to come back, but it can propel a team to some points.
And here comes Hughes rolling and throwing low. Incomplete. Uncatchable pass.
Ooh.
Hughes is down. Told you about the index finger, which has been broken. Now he comes limping off. Let's see the kind of hit he takes here.
This is a gutsy guy. He has played one heck of a game. He's tough, gets caught up with his guard, comes down on him with the pressure.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of Bowl Week, the 1993 Weiserlock Copper Bowl, presented by Duracell, is brought to you by Weiserlock, America's home security system since 1904, and in part by Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling. Can your beer do this?
We're in the 4th quarter. Kansas State leads it 38-10. New quarterback is John Gustin, junior from Boise, Idaho. He's only thrown 4 passes all season. 2nd and 10. Touchdown. Caught by Eddie Pratt. One play, one touchdown. I guess the kid did a pretty good job. He's 6'6". He's got a great view, and look at how long he stands in that pocket and the patience he shows for his receiver to get over.
He has patience, but he has patience because he has time. The little fake gets the lineman out of his face, and he almost bobbles this and didn't come down in time with possession.
Eddie Pratt makes the grab. He's a junior, 6'7". Taylor Sorensen, number 26, and he drills it in. And with 11:54 remaining, we're in the 4th quarter. Kansas State has a lead, 38-17, as they work on the Hughes of the starting Wyoming. Backup quarterback John Gustin getting in the game and throwing a touchdown pass, and here is how he got this opportunity to play in the Copper.
Look at the left foot. I mean, this is ugly. Look down here. I mean, that ankle gets turned under, stepping on his lineman, and so he goes to the sideline. First play out, Gustin, they come with a blitz. He's got great protection. They wall everybody off. You'll see him fake pump, gets the lineman out of his face, allows his receiver to come clean and clear. It's 6.
Second year as a backup to Hughes. They battled for the starting job a year ago, and Hughes beat him out. Gustin, as we said before, had only come into tonight throwing 3 of 4 for 27 yards. And his first match tonight in the Copper Bowl is a touchdown. Here comes Andre Coleman. Trying to use the wide side of that field. Trying to get a block. Can't do either. He's out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. But he has been the story tonight. Two of the most pivotal times in the ball game, Craig, as you've told us, before half and just after half.
He has the punt return for the touchdown, which really pads their lead, gives them confidence, soaks out the energy, drains it from Wyoming. They come back out. They try to game plan where they're going to stuff the run. Mike Adamle was in the locker room. Wyoming says we're going to stop the run. They roll the pocket. May finds him. He catches the ball with his athletic ability, goes for the touchdown.
That's the game. Up the middle, Leon Edwards. A big run past midfield. 21-yard pickup. Edwards is only playing because Rod Schiller usually plays as the backup to J.J. Smith, was not playing. That is only the 15th carry all season long for Leon Edwards.
There are a lot of backs that could have excelled in this offense tonight. That's tremendous blocking. Look at the leverage that they have. They have dominated. I'm talking about Kansas State. Their offensive line has dominated Wyoming's front seven.
First and 10. A little play action by May, and he's got the spinning tight end, Brad Seib, from Hoisington, Kansas.
We talked to his dad last night at dinner, didn't we?
We stopped him. We had no choice. He came right in front of us and said, yeah.
He said, that's the best tight end in America. Make sure you talk about it.
And that's the great thing. 15,000 people came down from Kansas, maybe another 3,000 from K-State alum outposts around the country. They came in 13 chartered planes and 88 buses. They drove, they rode, and they are here watching their Wildcats lead Wyoming in the Cotton Bowl. A little shuttle pass. Here's Edwards again. Another first down as he swerves down inside the 30-yard line near the 28. Pickup of 13 yards on the play. Some of the 15,000 coming down. They've had a great week here in Tucson.
We're staying at the same hotel that their fans and team is. It's a great resort. Tucson has been absolutely fantastic, but I don't know how much sleep we'll get tonight.
We're staying at the Kansas State Hotel. First and 10. Edwards, wrapped up by Thomas Williams. They had these big tents set outside the stadium. They had the parade, as we talked about earlier today, and George Brett was the grand marshal of this parade. But they had these big barbecue pits, and they were cooking big, thick steaks and Mexican food. And the smell of that barbecue and of that cooking came drifting into the stadium before the game tonight. It was indescribable. It was so good.
You're killing me. Cut his microphone off.
Second down and 7. Man, right down the seam, he gets Coleman for a spinning first down to the 13 of Wyoming. Boy, they don't let up. They do not let up.
Really impressed with Kansas State, Chad May, Coleman, the talent level they have, and Wyoming fans should not be so discouraged. This is a Kansas State team that had a heck of a season in the Big 8. They're the number 3 team there. They beat a good Oklahoma ball club, tied Colorado. They were in the game with Nebraska right to the very end. I watched the game. This is a heck of a football team.
Coleman 8 catches tonight. He has been a star. Fake. May just out of the reach of the diving receiver on the near side for Kansas State, Ron Brown. He is a junior from Indianapolis. And the first throw his way tonight.
We heard Paul Rhodes, the athletic director at Wyoming, talking about how this is really, it's a rough night, but it's a good night. We're on national television. Recruits will see us. We'll have a chance.
Second and 10. Ball play, Edwards. Got a block, and he cuts inside. Touchdown. For 17, Kansas State. Edwards' first touchdown run this season. Extra points by Warren Clausen. who is a senior from Whitewater, Kansas, hitting in the Copper Bowl.
Watch number 65, Eric Wolford. Boy, does he make a block on this deal here. He locks up on his guy, drives him to the inside, gives the ball carrier. Everybody's got everybody pinned down. Look at the receiver. People blocking, attacking. Good running, too.
Wild, Wild West tonight. Kansas State's rolling over Wyoming. 45-17 Kansas State. And yes, please stay tuned because ESPN Sports Center is next. If we had to ask Kansas State what is their Sports Center moment, it would come tonight, December 29th in Tucson, Arizona. And their second bowl appearance ever. And a masterful performance over the Wyoming Cowboys. This would be the Kansas State moment they would most like to live. And Mike Adamle downstairs with the look at Joe Hughes.
Yeah, we didn't want to leave you hanging with his condition. He is with Wyoming trainer Bill Lyons, and he is definitely out for the rest of the game. It does not appear to be as severe as it looked on the replay there. Probably a severe ankle sprain. They're applying ice to it right now. They won't really know the severity of the injury until about 24 hours from now. But Joe Hughes, a tough way to go out. He's had an outstanding senior year, and this is not the way to go out here in the Copper Bowl.
Cowboys have it 1st and 10. Dustin, the backup quarterback for the injured Hughes, is running for his life and throws it away. Incomplete pass. Mike, you're down there on that Wyoming sideline. All the build-up, a month of practices and preparation. What's the mood like on that Wyoming sideline where you stand right now?
Well, again, you go back to that speed thing, Kevin and Craig. I think a lot of these players are in shock. They look in awe and they see these little juggernauts that Kansas State has playing for them. I don't think this team was flat out not ready for the speed that Kansas State possesses.
Now those numbers right there, Craig, tell the story. Huh?
How many times have you seen a Wyoming offense with the magnitude and the power that they have? A lot of times Ryan Yarbrough has 230, 40 yards by himself.
Dustin again. Near side. Reception made by Richard Peace. He is a freshman redshirt from Colorado Springs.
With the impressive showing tonight for Kansas State, it really gives a big boost to the Big 8 in Nebraska. You have to look at Nebraska and say, hey, well, you know, they made it through a team like this. It improves the quality and value of that conference.
You can just imagine when these kids came to a program without a great deal of tradition or history must be going through tonight. The feelings to represent that program on national TV.
That group we just saw, those are the guys that will keep you and me awake tonight.
Indeed. Dustin with a little pump fake and lost some time. Oh, look at the wide open field he has now. Big hit across the way, and it was dealt out by Purcell Gaskins. Folks, here may be the most athletic player on the field. He won the 1993 NCAA Indoor High Jump Championship with a jump of 7 feet 5 1/4 inches. We read about him, first of all, in Sports Illustrated in their college preview edition. They talked about Purcell Gaskins. What a player.
And he's one of those Florida guys that we were talking about. When they bring Florida recruits in this year, they said they may have as many as 30 come in to visit from that state. They see a guy like Gaskins that can play the game, a solid star, and it helps them to recruit.
And a fake by Kragers. And he gets the first down. It's the first down to the 32.
Took him a little while to get his motor going. I mean, what'd you say? He throws the discus?
He's a state champion in the discus.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is like the Flintstones starting a car going here. But once he gets it going, after the feet finally begin forward progress, he had one thing in mind: straight ahead.
Well, that isn't Barney. Is that Fred?
It was Fred all the way, definitely.
Wilma made the tackle.
Well, Wilma was in the secondary.
There's Dino. Who are you and I? I'll be your Pebbles. I'm Ben.
You can tell we have kids.
1st and 10. Dustin and a little bit off on his throw to the big tight end Mike Jones. Justin's father played football at Utah State, and this kid has an interesting past. He served a mission in Colombia and Ecuador for the Mormon Church. Had a chance to see life in a completely different perspective, and he had a quote in one of the pieces of material we got from the Sports Information Office in Wyoming saying it just gave him a completely different perspective on life. One of the most fruitful things he's done, really rounded him out as a person. Oh, it's picked off. And on the near side, Kenny McIntyre is going to go in for 6. Folks, we told you about Thomas Randolph and Jamie Mendez. We only alluded to McIntyre. He has been the defensive star of the game.
NFL scouts around the country are saying that this guy has as much or more talent than those 2 All-Americans you were just talking about. He reads it, breaks on it. Poor decision by the quarterback to throw to the flat because he was there. And this helps him. And this is one of the things that helps this guy when he decides to play in the National Football League.
He was a player who was not recruited, went with a buddy on a whim to Cloud Community College to play basketball, and he has played for the Kansas State basketball team. And then he showed up after his 2 years of eligibility at junior college were through, and he goes to the Kansas State football office and said, "Let me play." He said, "Welcome to the program." Kansas State has scored on offense. They have scored on special teams, and we just saw him score on defense moments ago as McIntyre runs it in from 38 yards away. Good night, Coleman and McIntyre.
The game within the game, we talked about it, would be the secondary of K-State, that great secondary against the passing of Wyoming. They won the battle.
Shut down Christopherson, who could have made a big impact for the passing game of Wyoming. Did not materialize after the first couple minutes of the ball game. And Bill Snyder has coached there's Eckley in this game. He's like a Tasmanian devil.
I'm telling you, this is a guy now, he got his hair cut on one level one week, went another week, got the other one cut, and he's playing on special teams.
Wow, there's some hitting down there. It may be late in the game with only 6 minutes left in it. You've only played 2 bowl games in the history of your program, man. You go out there with that Eckler look, and you go out and you whack some people.
I guarantee it. I'd hate to have to dress next to the guy because he may become violent at any moment. They say he bench presses 340 pounds, and that he just is he's a nasty guy that has no worry or fear for his body, no concern. Look at he just hit somebody, and he said, "Well, you don't have the ball, but I'm going to go ahead and rack you up."
He's a walk-on. Dustin, the quarterback. I think we're going to see more Joe Hughes tonight this time. Because of that ankle injury. Dustin loses the ball. Almost picked off again. Almost swiped on the deflection by Chuck Marlowe, number 21. Sports Center's coming up next, and a lot of great NBA news, especially that matchup between the Atlanta Hawks, one of the surprise teams in the NBA, and the Orlando Magic. O'Neal was ejected in the game. All the details coming up on that. What about Bobby Crimmins and Georgia Tech taking on St. John's? Big story brewing there in the buzzer beater. And more Orange Bowl coverage with our crew, Mike Tirico, Chris Fowler, the Coach League course down in Miami. Second down and 10. And there's a wild hit made. It was made on the tight end for the Cowboys. Michael Jones. There are 2 Joneses on that tight end position. Mike Jones and Michael Jones. That was Michael Jones. I bet you didn't know that.
I figured you'd made a mistake. No, I didn't. I knew you didn't. I knew that you knew something I didn't know.
Well, it's been the only thing I can tell you. 34. Dustin at 6'6", he's got some pretty good mobility, doesn't he? But his touch is in question. Incomplete pass. Young man is filling in for the injured quarterback and very dejected sideline. Thomas Williams. There's Gustin. He's married to the former all-WAC basketball player, Scarlett Overall. I would imagine playing basketball, she must have some size. He's 6'6". You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, they don't have any problem at the grocery store looking over the next aisle to see what's there.
That's exactly what I meant. Raegert. And going to Mitch Running, who takes the place of Coleman, and running down the sideline. He's picking up about 11 yards on that 42-yard punt.
We've got to the point in this ball game. We're going with the all haircut team. You see the look there, the clean look. There's a little hair at the bottom down there, though. He's trying to keep a little hair on the chin and the back of the neck. The glasses because it's nighttime. This guy's got the curly hair. He hasn't seen the barber in Manhattan, obviously. A lot to work there, though. You can do a lot of things with a little curly hair, but it's tough to work with a guy that doesn't have much. And this guy here, these are two Cowboys. These are Cowboys. They wear a nice resist-all hat. They're clean cut, but they can still, the Manhattan look is a little different. You either have no hair or you got some hair on top and none on the bottom. Here's what I'm talking about. This guy here, this is the Manhattan look. That's the guy. This guy here needs a lot of work.
That is an old look. Here's Craig Manson in the game. And on a 2nd and 6, he sends it up the middle. Leon Edwards. And then you have the Craig James look. That's
my look right there. That's after 4 days with my kids while my wife has been sick.
52-17 Kansas State. 3rd and 4 for the Wildcats, who will win their first bowl game ever. They lost back in '82 in the Independence Bowl to Wisconsin. This will be their first bowl victory ever. Pitch out to Edwards. He dances for room. And a first down inside the 40-yard line on a pickup of 13 yards. Well, the Weiserloch Offensive Player of the Game. Who else? Andre Coleman. Craig said it. He scored just before halftime and just after halftime. And the man who ranks in the top 15, the only player in college football to have that distinction in total all-purpose yards, punt return, and kickoff yardage, is the man who captures our attention offensively tonight. But there was probably something to be said about the quarterback, Chad May, and running back, J.J. Smith. They had great games as well. And here's Edwards, who scored a touchdown earlier on. He picks up a couple there, making it 2nd. And a defensive player of the game goes to that man right there, number 7, Kenny McIntyre. Like I said, we talked about Mendez and we talked about Randolph, but this is the kid that made it happen defensively.
He is a superb athlete like Mendez and Randolph, and he did not want to be shown up tonight by his other teammates. It was a great challenge for their secondary. They all stepped up, accepted the challenge, and shut down Wyoming.
Well, they just announced that Kenny McIntyre is the defensive player of the game, and you see his reaction. 2nd down and 8. Edwards hit once, twice, and spins. They can't bring that kid down. He picks up about 7 yards right there, and he's about a yard and a half shy of a first down. 8 carries and 64 yards for a player who saw only 13 carries in the regular year.
One thing we're seeing in college football is with the early departure for the NFL by stars, we're able to find that there are good athletes, potential stars that sit on the bench that get a chance to play a little bit earlier.
3rd down and a couple to go now for Kansas State, leading 52-17. First down. There's a flag. And he's down to the 17-yard line. Mike Adamle.
Well, it can't be too premature to celebrate Andre Coleman. 52-17, and you've just been announced as Offensive Player of the Game. This has got to be icing on the cake to a sweet, sweet season for you. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm happy. I give all the credit to the team. I can't do it without another 10 guys out there. We worked hard all year, and we wanted to send a message to the nation, and I think we did a good job of doing that tonight.
Did a credit to the Big A, too, huh? Kansas State is for real.
Kansas State's for real. The Big Eight's for real. we're just happy to be here and happy to have a good showing in the Copper Bowl.
You know, I wanted to tell Kevin and Craig upstairs in the booth, you did look great in the tees tonight, man, too. Yeah, Tombstone. You got a future as a Cowboy.
Maybe. I just want to say one thing.
He'll be on it.
Hey, exactly.
He'll be on it.
Don't you like a guy that knows how to make national TV?
3rd and 12. Minute and a half remaining in the Copper Bowl from Tucson. Handoff. This is to Dedrick Kelly. His first carry tonight. 5'11" sophomore weighing in at 210 pounds. And he gets a nice little carry.
I get the feeling, Kevin, that while we heard Coleman talk about the showing and wanted to send a message to the nation for the Big 8, that Nebraska is going to want to do the same thing in the Orange Bowl against Florida State. They will want respect. They will have their work cut out for them. They must have, I'm talking about Nebraska, a great passing game from Tommy Frazier.
4th and 1. And Kelly bulldozing his way for the first down, and that'll do it. Kansas State, with their second bowl appearance ever and their first ever bowl win. Here is a program that 5 years ago was labeled dead by national magazines. They lured somehow the talented assistant Bill Snyder from Hayden Fry's staff up in Iowa. And in 5 years, he has turned around a program which was given up on. Craig James, they were mighty powerful tonight. The end of a 5-year run, which signals a new dimension of Kansas State football.
It will really propel them in their recruiting. They already have momentum from the regular season. This is icing on the cake.
Great working with you tonight, mister. Happy New Year to you.
Hey, Happy New Year to you, too.
Thank you so much.
That was a lot of fun.
Well, a long week in Tucson, and the celebration begins for Kansas State. They had 15,000 of their own people here to watch them, and they steamrolled Wyoming 52-17. It's been a great week here in Tucson, Arizona. Special thanks to all the folks affiliated with the Weiser-Lott Copper Bowl, presented by Duracell. Now for Craig James and Mike Adamle, Kevin Harlan saying so long from beautiful Tucson, Arizona. And stay tuned for SportsCenter. Good night.
1882 loss in the Independence Bowl. The highlights for you here on ESPN. Bill Snyder going over the game plan. Give the ball to J.J. Smith and Andre Coleman. First quarter, 3-0 Wyoming. Chad May, the handoff to J.J. up the gut. Andre Coleman will take it in, 2 yards out. J.J. gets the touchdown. Smith, 14 carries, 121 yards, 6-3 Kansas State. Wyoming gets the ball and gets going after this touchdown. Then it's the Cowboys' turn. Joe Hughes puts it up. Richard Peace holds on to it. Joe Tiller a little relieved. And then the plunge inside. 16-10 Kansas State. But Kansas State pushed hard and pressured Chad May. Put it in the air, 61 yards to Andre Coleman. Coleman with the second catch of the night. Kansas State looks extremely sharp, leaving their coach stunned. 52-17 the final. The Wildcats finished 9-2-1, 9 wins, second most in the school's 98-year history. This, of course, is the 100-year history of the Wyoming football